night and the Gemini crew.
Just absurd, so let's just talk about the world, cause you're here with us tonight.
Oh yeah, you're here with us tonight, people of the night.
Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Let's just talk about the world, give this page another curl, cause you're here with us tonight.
I bid you all good morning, good evening, and good night, wherever you may be watching this transmission. Whether you're watching us from your condo in the sky or camper in the woods, or even at a cottage somewhere over the weekend, this beautiful weather we've been having, or just couch surfing, or maybe on some sort of weird road trip and you're catching this for some reason, or relaxing in your lazy boy. People of the night, welcome to Mike in the Night. It's 3 a.m. and something's moving you. So crack open a window, sit back, relax, get some tea or coffee, because you're tuned in to Mike in the Night, the voice of the Commonwealth. Broadcasting tonight from a very special garden area. It's raining right now, so I'm trying to catch a bit of shelter here for tonight's show. But secret location as usual. And so we got some already people commenting. We got a bunch of guys commenting, creating. I've already banned 3 fake accounts, and it happens a lot on this channel. There's a lot of haters, and I don't know. It's just they have no time in their hands, and they have better things. I don't know if they have better things to do than to come and create 30, 40 fake accounts to come and try and bomb our comment section. But I feel flattered. I actually feel that somebody out there is taking the time to rent a room out in their heads, letting me rent a room in their heads. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's head over to the comments and see what's going on here. We got Raven already in the comments. We got Craig Cook, my man, in the comments. We got Mitch Madden from Oregon in the comments. We got DIY, Sean Lieberman. We got all kinds. David Xavier, 26 Gunter, everybody. Woo! That's all I have to say. And you know what? Tonight, we're going to have a good show for you guys, and I have one more thing to say. Woo! Oh, yeah. It is Mike in the Night. Okay, guys, before we go to a channel plug, I want to kind of throw something out there. I've been doing a little rummaging in this little peanut of my brain here, and I came up with a few things about death. This is kind of important. It's about death. Before you tune off, do not tune off. Do not tune out. Nobody wants to discuss death. Nobody wants to be close to understanding or even bringing it up in a subject. It's actually worse than bringing up sex, is death. Well, I want to bring it up in this show just before we kick off a channel plug, because I've been thinking. Now, I'm very comfortable with dying. I'm very comfortable as with my background, or there's hope, there's paradise, there's a life after death, the whole 9 yards. I'm not trying to convert you guys. I really don't. I just want to tell you what I'm thinking on the government side, the conspiracy side of things. Now, please hear me on this. This is so important. Dying. Everyone feels that cold, empty, void feeling. You know what I'm talking about, right? Okay. What if you're not scared to die? Then how? You see, the government, now let's talk about the government now. This is all about the government here. This narrative is, if you're afraid to die, then you're easy to be pushed around. You're easy to be set astray. You're easy to be manipulated. You're easy to be knocked over. Because if you're afraid to die, then you feel like you have something big like you're gonna lose, right? That empty void of emptiness. And that's how they got us by our collars. And that's why I think they're abolishing religion, or some forms of religion, especially Christianity. In my opinion. This is not a Christian channel, but I'm telling you, in my opinion. Because then when you have nothing to fear when you die, and you're not scared of dying, the government doesn't have one over you. But when you have a fear of dying, and you're scared to you're locked in your room, and the fear has gotten to you, the fear has got you. And guess what? They got you. But then when you're like a zealot like myself, or a person like myself that's so, yeah, you know what? I'm going to die. I lost my dad last year. I'll be joining him soon. I got maybe 20 years left. I get it. There's really much they can't do over me anymore. You know what I'm saying? So think about that. Think about why they're trying to banish or remove certain religion sects, and why they want why do they want you to fear of dying? Think about it. Think about the control. Think about everything. Let's go over the comments real quick here. So, we got another fake account. Yeah, this is the dirty.com guys. There's a post about me on the dirty.com calling me the merit molester and stuff here in my town. And there's just a ton of fake accounts. I think we're going to be... Okay, was playing the game the other day. Someone talked about CV deaths, and I said people die all the time, then called a psychopath. Yeah, exactly. You see, here's the deal. The government is always going to have one over you. When they know you're scared to die and you're in fear, they have you. And there was a movie I recommended for you guys to watch a few months ago. It's called Silence by Martin Scorsese. It's on Netflix. It's called Silence. People started, the Portuguese Jesuit, the priests went over to Japan in the 1600s to bring Christianity. And the emperor banned all Portuguese from coming to the island, and all priests, and persecuted and murdered all these priests. Why? I'll tell you why. Because they were giving people hope. They were giving people a hope that there is a paradise. There is a life after death. And once people have or don't have the fear of dying anymore, things start to change. So, anyways, let's get to the channel. Let's go for a channel plug. So we got some comments going here. Mr. Beaks Project. They are afraid of the power of Christianity because they know it is to be about unleashed. That's Mystic Beast Productions. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for the book again. Thank you again for the book and the bookmarks and everything. I keep that book that you sent me close to my heart. Raven again in the comments. Always be ready to walk away. Always be ready to die. That's right, David Xavier. Blunt news, always be ready to die. The truth exposes error. Jesus Christ is the truth and the light of the world. Amen, brother. Amen, Terry. So, If you don't have hills you're willing to die on, you're a worthless human. That's right. Don't let them get to you. Don't be afraid. Because once they sense that fear in you, it's like a dog. Once a dog senses a type of fear, it will never stop barking at you or never try to put you down when it sees you. All right, let's get into a quick channel plug here real quick. Okay, where are we here? Okay, let's go to article scan. Where are you, article scan? There you are. Guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Less than 18% of the people that watch this channel are subscribed to it. Unless there's like tens of thousands of federal agents watching this. I don't think so. Don't forget to set your reminders for Trends in the Housing Market next Wednesday and Mike in the Night Political Carnival Sideshow next week. That's going to be a big show next week. Don't forget to set your reminders to this one. This one's going to be really good. Mike in the Night back shows. A lot of good stuff. A lot of good callers. I was rewatching today. Hey, YouTubers. Mike Martin's here. Got a radio playing there. This one right here. Mike in the Night. I was watching this one with that caller in from New Zealand that was trapped. She called into the show. She was trapped basically in her room because of COVID. And she was like, oh, this is what a disaster. The people, you got to watch it. Don't forget to pick up something on Teespring. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook. If you guys want to come on here and follow me on Facebook, I'll give you a link right here. Oh, the guys are going strong right now, man. Holy crap. Wow. What do you call it? These guys are pretty hard. These guys are going pretty hard tonight. A lot of trolls tonight in the comments calling me a con man and a scum and a liar. And wow. Okay, here it is, guys. And don't forget to check out my Instagram if you guys want to go ahead and follow me on Instagram. Don't forget to check art by Dano. Dano's making me a caricature. This guy's a really nice guy. I talked to him a lot on the back end of it, like we just talk a bit. He's based out of Los Angeles, and I want to get him on the show to give us a little bit of insight on what's happening in LA County there. And guys, here's the Lost Canuck channel. People can't find it, so I found it here. This is the one I subscribed to the other day. I didn't even know. I thought it was the 13th Disciple. I didn't even know what it was. So here it is, guys. Go ahead and check it out. The Lost Canuck. All right, guys. People of the night. Welcome to Mike in the Night. People are asking me, why do I have trolls? That's just a part of being, when you're liked, you're disliked. No matter what, there's always going to be people out there that are going to hate you. They're going to do things to you, right? All you have to do is keep cataloging. The police said just catalog it, take screenshots, and there's only so much they could do, right? Also, people, I want to thank everybody that has come to my shop this week. I'm at 1925 Quilchina. If you guys want to come and visit me, I'm at 1925 Quilchina in downtown Merritt, British Columbia. It's the Merritt Toys and Games. You guys are all welcome to come. So we're going to hide this person from the channel here. So yeah, we're getting a lot of there's a post. I'll show you guys the post. I guess they're dying to show the post. So let's bring up the post here. I'm not scared of anything, so just type in the dirty Mike Martins. Here we go. We're gonna get into some news soon. So there it is there. Where is it? Mike Martins, the dirty, right here. There it is. So this has 128 comments on it. Okay, so here it is. There's a new comment here by the narcissist. And Mike is in damage control mode. Does he bring up the fact he is on the dirty or not? If he does not bring it up and shed light on people, he may assume comments are true, is somewhat embarrassing and troubled by it. So this is from not too long ago, actually. So there's 128 comments. There's another one here. There's another one here. And it just goes on, and let's expose this fake Mike Martins comes across as a completely greedy fat slime ball. And it just keeps going on and on. Just, there's like hundreds. I have more comments on here than the damn Kardashians do. So when you're liked, you're hated. And then just get used to it. You're always going to have haters. So I'll give you guys a link to the dirty if you guys want to throw something on there. Because apparently these people know me better than I know myself. Woo! Okay, enough with that, giving these losers attention.
I understand that you're building a nice $2.5 billion car factory in Mexico.
All right. Okay, let's get on to some big articles here and what's going on. Wow, we have over 100 people watching. Thank you so much.
I've been watching you for the last couple of weeks.
Okay, here we go. Ghost Town. Oop. Let's get it to... here we go. Ghost Town. Shocking. Dystopian video of New York City shows abandoned and boarded up 5th Avenue. Guys, I got a video from Melbourne I put up earlier this week, and look at that. Boarded up.
This is what the media
Trying hard to look like Gary Cooper. All boarded up. Look at that. What is that? Is that the... That's like a fancy clothing store there on 5th Avenue and 5th and... Where's that? I know that area. Is that Broadway? There's a Microsoft store. Let me skip it up ahead so it doesn't look... Oh, Versailles. There's a Versailles store there. I saw a Versailles store. AX. A couple of other... Look at that. All boarded up. All boarded up ahead there. Ooh, Guess. Everything's boarded up.
Just to put it on.
Are these things going to be remnants of the past for us? That's the question. Will this become a remnants of the past? These labels that we know. Conservative journalists arrested and jailed ahead of Shadowgate documentary release. Guys, I'm literally about to break a huge breaking news right now, and I'm being arrested, and I have no idea why. Wow. Shadowgate documentary. Guys, keep a lookout for Shadowgate documentary. Are China's naval ambitions a global threat? Far from being embarrassed by the recent criticism it has endured, Beijing remains determined to establish its naval presence around the world. President Trump's younger brother dies of unspecified illness. Oh. Okay. The concept of a bar is completely changing how automation is crushing servers' labor market hopes. That's a big deal, and imagine walking into a bar and there's a bunch of mechanical arms. You walk up, I guess you speak to it and say, "Hi, I would like an Alabama Slammer." Then two arms would go out. And there you go. You have your Alabama Slammer. Doctors pen open letter of Fauci regarding the use of hydrochloroquine for testing COVID. China to begin major expansion of digital currency testing. Okay, there it is. China's already testing it. China wants to make sure it works before it gets sent out. And why do you think they want the 5G? Why do you think they want these cameras to watch you? Why do you think they want all this stuff? Why do you think they want the flow of information to be faster than, like, the 5G messages could go to the moon and back within a thousandth of a second? They want all that because they need to control you. They need to make sure you're always in fear, and I guess to make sure you are a good citizen. Oh, here we go. Oh, he's back. Oh, he's back again. So again, guys, we got we got this person here back in the comments. Okay, hide user on this channel. Goodbye. China to begin major expansion of digital currency testing. This is amazing, guys. And imagine transferring money without the internet. I really don't want to imagine that. But it is the ushering of the new way, the new. Remember that 2012 video I did about the Mayan calendar? How the calendar restarts, and the Mayans predicted that there's going to be a change in our hearts, in our minds, and our souls. That's what the Mayans predicted. So when the calendar ended in 2012, December, I think it was December 21st or December 22nd, 2012, something did happen, but no one noticed it. Everyone expected earthquakes and the ceiling to fall and the world to end. But no. I think what happened was there was a change in us, a big change. That's what I'm thinking happened, wholeheartedly. So there it is. The evolution of fiat money, endless war, and the end of citizenship. War regime change, U.S. dollar, fiat imposition. Belarus president moves air assault brigade to western border in response to NATO drills. Says Russia will provide security assistance. Okay, here we go. Back on the Russian border, doing security drills, just like last year and the year before, and they get this pent-up noise on the borders like they usually do. COVID has transformed America into a drive-in nation! Woo! Israel not giving up on annexing West Bank. Netanyahu says after historic UAE deal, the American president asked me to wait. There is no change to my plan to extend sovereignty. So, it's kind of weird when one country or one state or one area wants to take over another country, but then when you have other countries begging for their original colonists to come back and recolonize them because they don't trust the IMF, the World Bank, or dealing with the Germans, like the country of Angola and Mozambique and Timor-Leste. Even Brazil at one point was begging for the Portuguese to come and recolonize because they don't want to be part of this other, you know what I'm saying? But then you get a country or a state that goes in and starts taking land where people are living there and annexing it. It makes it just... What can I say? Woo! Courageous Australian surfer saves wife from great white shark attack. New sound money caucus launched on Capitol Hill. Americans and even Fedbugs are grappling with the inimitable truth of the government's can't print into society into prosperity. A handful of congressmen hope to shine a new spotlight on the devastating effects of this runaway financial profligacy. Announced the creation of the Congressman Warren Davidson recently announced the creation of the Congressional Sound Money Caucus. According to Congressman Davidson's office, the caucus exists to promote sound fiscal and monetary policy in the United States with the goal of preserving the purchasing power of U.S. Federal Reserve note. So there it is, guys. This is what Lord Humongous has been talking about for the longest time. This is what the Federal Reserve has been, this is what Lord Humongous has been talking about, what the Federal Reserve has been up to, and we need a good, sound, currency, to kind of get things going, you know what I'm saying? Wow, is that, wow, back again, man. So I got someone in the back end screenshotting all of this. So there's a couple of haters out there, guys. So there's quite a few haters out there. It's one person that's doing this, actually. This is actually one person that's doing this. One person. And I'm going to PDF all the emails and the screenshots. Because it's not illegal to do that, right? All right, let's keep moving on here. We got lots to talk about. Okay, so we got 300,000 made homeless by the Beirut explosion. Catastrophic food shortage predicted. There it goes. So here it is. The blast, which Lebanese officials say caused by an explosion of 2,700 tons of ammonium nitrate being held at a shipping port, leveled the entire section of the city. So this is just mismanagement of government, mismanagement. Look at that port there, right there. Look at that. All right, it's got to go into this. There it is right there. Wow. Holy smokes. It just leveled that whole area right out. And it kind of, the reverberation here just wiped this out. Yeah. Man, holy smokes. This guy is going strong on the comment section, man. Yeah, it's coming out. It's someone out of Australia that's doing this. It's ordering it. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Pow. Let's close that. In post-blast Lebanon, farmers struggle as food shortages fear. If the dollar doesn't go down, we won't plant. If the dollar doesn't go down, we won't plant. So the American dollar needs to weaken to make it profitable. Basically for Lebanese to plant. And again, remember guys, it's like housing. If they're not making money off housing, they're not going to make affordable housing or lower end housing or, below average housing because they're not going to make profits off it. They want to make big money. All right. Let's get our first caller in, 26 Gunter. He wants to come on the show. He says he has something he wants to add. So let's get him on first. I promised him I'd get him on first. So here he comes.
Hey, Mike, can you...
Hey, what's up, dog? How you doing?
Hold on, let me,
Can you hear me?
quiet the stream. Yeah.
Perfect.
Just gotta quiet the stream. So what's going on, Mikey?
Not much. I'm calling you because you said you wanted to come on the show.
Yeah, how you been?
I've been very good. I've been very busy, though. Today was my daughter's 4th birthday. We celebrated that, blew out some candles, opened presents, had some fun. And, yeah, steady busy.
Congratulations.
How you doing? You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Just working. Just waiting on things to get exciting.
So what's happening with in your area? What's happening there in
Well, in southern Wisconsin, there's not much going on. A lot of houses going up, lots of land. It's both a buyer's and seller market. Of course, I guess you could say if you're living in a city, it's not really a seller's market. It's kind of a get out if you can market.
Yeah, get out of the cities. Are you noticing people moving to the rural areas there?
Oh yeah, it's been that way. I moved up here from Mississippi 5 years ago. It's been that way ever since I've come up here. People leaving Milwaukee, Madison, Detroit, I guess, Minneapolis, all over, Chicago. A lot from Chicago. I've met many people working jobs here from Chicago. And that kind of plays into the whole current paradigm you see with all the riots. Somewhere like Canada, I can understand the real Kevin Thompson when he's like, property's not going to drop because you have like 4 or 5 major cities. They can't allow property prices to drop, but in the United States they can. Mm-hmm. So companies like Amazon, Google, Apple, or I guess whoever. I know Amazon in particular has been buying up like old malls, strip
Amazon's
malls,
been on a buying spree lately.
Yeah, they bought up several properties close to me. Been expanding, and that's kind of what you would expect in the U.S. as far as the major cities. They're going to push out all the rich people, the middle class, upper middle class, whatever working class people can leave, and all that's going to be left are the people that can't leave. And
do you remember maybe a couple of years ago when I made a couple of videos called The Great Brain Drain, where people are going to be leaving major cities, and I called it the brain drain, where people that could leave, people that are educated, people that are done with the cities. Do you remember those? The brain drain, the Great American Brain Drain, the Great Los Angeles Brain Drain. I made quite a few of them.
I didn't find your channel until you had the Uneducated Economists on about a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably didn't see it.
Okay.
But it does make sense. There's a lot of people leaving.
Mm-hmm.
The only people that's gonna stay are the ones looking at nice, cushy government jobs.
Yes.
And to some extent, even teachers are leaving. Police, fire, or emergency personnel. They're gonna leave the cities. It's mostly like your kind of central government bureaucrats that's going to be working at City Hall,
Mm-hmm.
the county office.
But who's gonna pay for those? Who's gonna pay for those pensions when there's nobody on the hook for them? When there's no private sector citizens working?
Well, that's a good question. I guess the Federal Reserve's going to buy up bonds and whatever, pump the money markets. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I've tried to offer like advice to people as far as like investing and let you know there are going to be opportunities to make money, but you're going to have to look out for there's going to be a time where there's going to be a great trap and it's going to take everybody down with it.
Yeah.
People have been talking about bail-ins, bank bail-ins for years, and I'm still committed to, if you have under $10,000 in an account, whether it's a checking account, savings account, you're gonna end up pretty decent. But what you're gonna have to worry about is not being able to spend money. They're only gonna let you spend up to like $1,000 a month or something like that. You can only pay certain bills, or you can only spend so much for food and water. They're going to put capital restrictions in place.
Yeah, I know. They're going to go to negative rates. They're going to abolish cash, right? They're going to abolish the cash. And with that, in turn, they'll start going into negative rates. And then this way, there won't be a runoff on the banking systems and blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Just like happened in Cyprus, just like it happened in other countries. And, in Germany, they're in negative interest rates. Germany is in negative interest rates for people with $100,000 or more in their accounts.
Oh yeah, I see. Their 10-year bond.
Deutsche Bank, 100. No. If you have over 100,000, you're in negative. I think negative 0.5% interest rate. You're actually paying the bank to hold your money. Yeah.
That was put into place last year, and I think their 10-year bond is at like a negative 0.05% rate as well.
Yeah. Is that a heart monitoring system in the background?
No, it's probably just my headset. It's kind of old, so it's probably making some kind of noise.
Oh, okay, it sounds like a heart monitoring system going off in the background. That's why.
Either that, or it's just me breathing into my mic.
Oh, okay. No biggie. All right. Is there anything major you need to add to this?
No. If you're gonna get food or water or whatever, you may as well get to it. If you could buy an ounce of gold or 20 ounces of silver, if you could do both, that'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
I bought on this recent dip. Sitting at 3 ounces of gold and a little over 250 ounces of silver, and I've only been stacking for a year.
Good for you.
The Uneducated Economist, he got me into stacking metals. Then I found your channel. So I've been a fan of Mike and the Night ever since.
Woo!
For about a year and a half, so
nice.
I've enjoyed it.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
I'd get ready though, because the way I look at it, it's going to go two ways. Either you're going to have, with this lawyer coming out, essentially trying to take the blame for the FBI and the whole deep state fiasco. It's either going to go kind of an optimistic kind of route, you know, this guy will get charged. You might have like Comey or maybe a couple other higher up stooges get charged and put into jail for like, you know, maybe like 4, 5, 10 years. Their sentences will end up getting commuted. And then you'll have some riots and protests with whatever local and state issues with all the kind of police activities going on.
Yeah.
There's been some high profile police shootings and whatnot happening, and almost like pretty much 95% of them have been, you know, in the clear. The cops have been cleared of wrongdoing, essentially, from like body cameras and whatnot. And so you'll have protesting come from that, because I know from the Minnesota incident, there's been renewed protests from that. The body cameras came out and it didn't happen like the media portray it. You'll have things like that.
The media will always going to portray something a certain way just to make sure that they get their agenda across, and the media spins what do you call it, assumption into fact.
And then, you know, you'll have the election time coming, but I have a feeling, some people kind of call me a pessimist, but I have a feeling that we're on the brink of a big thing going on here. You know, we're at the second pressing of 0% interest rates by the Federal Reserve. Of course, back during the great financial crisis, I was in high school and they said, you know, people said we weren't going to recover from that. And, you know, it looks like it's here. You know, it looks like we might have maybe 12 months to a year, giving the government spends that $1.8 trillion it has sitting in its general fund. It can spend that and kind of stimulate things. It looks like we're at the end of the road, so I just say for anybody listening, just kind of buy some food. I wouldn't go in, if you don't have any metals, I wouldn't worry about it, you know. Buy food, water.
Food, water, basic essentials to keep yourself alive.
Yep.
Yeah. Very important.
You know, even where I am, a lot of houses aren't made to endure in the winter without power, you know, without some kind of like centralized heating. You know, it might be a good idea to invest in a hot tent, get a wood stove, something of that nature. But other than that, jobs are they're going pretty strong in my area. A lot of factory jobs. Of course, during the financial crisis, the great financial crisis, just like that, we had a lot of manufacturing jobs, but a lot of people my age didn't want to take them because it wasn't worth the pay. And you know, I've kind of experienced that myself, on and off. But
The American people
you know,
are ready.
I just think that at the end of the day, it just depends on where you're living. You know, if you're living in the state capital south of me, then yeah, I can maybe understand working in a factory isn't going to cut it, because when you're averaging $15 an hour and your rent's $800-900 a month, that's going to be pretty tough to cut.
There's people in Canada that have $2,100 rent and they're making $9 an hour.
Yeah, it's a lot worse outside of the U.S., you know, and that's one thing people my age don't understand, or even younger, that there's still places to go. It's, you know, it's kind of disheartening, Mike, when you look at, like, when you start thinking about property taxes and then think about like building codes. You know, it's not truly your property. You can't just put up like some kind of tin shack where you are because you got to build it a certain way, and you know, there's some places you can still do that at, but they're starting to slowly clamp down, and that's part of the people leaving the cities. It's going to start raising prices in like areas where I'm at, where it's not uncommon to find a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house for like $120,000, and I would say in a year I'd expect to see a house like that for $250,000, which is well beyond the buying power of anybody in my area, unless they're in some kind of like high up managerial position, or there's
Well,
some kind
don't
of
feel
skill
bad.
favor.
Don't feel bad because in major cities in Canada, in not even major cities, I'm talking about 3 hours outside of a major city, you need to save 25 years with an average income, not a minimum income, average wage income. You need to save 25 years to able to put down a 10% down payment.
Oh yeah, did y'all like that $3 million property I sent you? What was that? 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I think I played it on my thing. Yeah.
That was a really nice property.
See if I could
But,
find it. Yeah. All right.
I've found land, 20 to 50 acres for varying prices. But it takes a special kind of person to buy that kind of property, and want to develop it, put a house, put a farm.
Or something. It doesn't have to be a farm. Just maybe something small you could live off. But the problem is you're up north, and it's hard to grow certain things all year round. That's the problem.
Well, but in a way, it's different from in the south because you can just kind of in the winter you can just kind of spray your crops when it gets real cold so that they don't freeze over. Up here, especially where I am, it's the dairy land, so they have a lot of livestock, and I know with the virus it did take a toll. There was at some point people talking about having to put down cattle because they couldn't sell the milk to they couldn't pump enough milk and keep it flowing, keep the whole system going to warrant keeping them alive.
So how's the second wave going to come along there? Is it coming along yet, or is it too early towards the election? I think this is all timed around the election, in my opinion.
I think it's just it's a kabuki theater, Mike. It's just all for show. I walk around, well, except for where I work. They make me, of course. I could probably get away with it if I wanted to, with not wearing a mask. But I go around town for the most part. I went to Walmart today without a mask. Nobody said anything to me. I mean, you get some weird looks.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I do have asthma, but I don't use that as an excuse. Usually, if somebody says, "Why don't you have a mask on?" I'm like, "Oh, I got a breathing problem, or I have asthma." And I just, they can't do anything about it. My state was supposed to have like a $200 fine, I think, and of course they came out and said they couldn't enforce it because there were some pending lawsuits coming, and they knew they weren't going to be able to enforce it.
Well, what about in Australia? And I think it was, I don't know which major city in Australia, this security guard guy who couldn't cut it as a cop, grabs a girl by the throat, slams her to the ground, puts her knee on her, and then holds her down until the police arrive because she wasn't wearing a mask on the street outside.
That's dedication to the system.
Yeah, that's huge dedication to the system.
And that's kind of been a part of the push-pull here in the States. You have all these people who are like, cops are going to go this way or that way, the military is going to go this way or that way in a civil war.
Yeah.
And it's still kind of 50-50 in a way. And the way I see it is they're going to push more towards the people / Trump, even though I understand the whole Epstein thing and all that. Yeah, I'm familiar with it. It's all about getting the people to agree to it. It's like when you make a deal with the devil, he has to tell you the terms of the agreement, and that's what's happening.
Right.
They're slowly putting into place through Trump the digital currency and the new world.
They're ushering in
They're slowly getting Americans, who are the last vestige of sovereign people in the world, to finally accept the new system coming into play. And that's, some people would say it's because they're domesticated, but you kind of want to be domesticated in a way, because what it means to be a domesticated person is to not be as violent. You're not literally trying to gouge people's eyes out. You know, just fighting over petty things. But in a way, us as a people, as European people, we've lost our kind of martial prowess. You know, in a way, I look at it, I'm kind of a mongrel. I'm descended from Germans and English and Scots and Irish and whatnot. You know, we have a proud history of kind of resisting empires.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what's happened. You know, people look at the United States and they, you know, yeah, pretty much like half of the people that founded the U.S., the founding fathers, were like Freemasons or whatever. But there were some legitimate reasons for the founding of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that a system that what was going to be the federal government, or I should say, under the Articles of Confederation, was a system that was solely there to protect the interests of the states. States were practically sovereign, and the people were practically sovereign people. Like, you and I would both be considered kings. You know, that's what it means to be a sovereign. The only reason why you would have a king or a president or whatever was that person was like the last line of defense against tyranny. You know, they're like the last judge. And that's kind of why our system failed. We didn't have like an active judiciary to stop acts of Congress or even our own Supreme Court for enforcing tyrannical acts in a way.
Yeah.
But
all right. That's a good little piece of history, a little revamp on history, making sure people understand why things were done and how things were put in place, and understanding that there's more than reasons, but there's actual. Yeah, it's about us, our souls. It's about when you're king and you're independent and you have sovereignty, you're a free soul.
the problem is they sold all people a bill of freedom, or under its liberalism sold everyone a bill of freedom when not everyone is capable of being free. Because if you say, hey, if you line up 10 people and have 10 syringes filled with heroin, you're pretty sure 2 or 3 people are just going to inject themselves with the heroin, even if you explain to them the consequences of it. You know, like, hey, you're going to get addicted to this. You're going to have to constantly inject yourself, but you're going to feel really good each time you do it. Mm-hmm. You're going to have...
Yeah, there's always going to have that. I get it. So we get it. It's the... Basically, there's always going to be people that are going to fall into what they think is... Or following what they're being told, basically.
Yeah, they get trapped into what they think freedom is, which is just feeling good all the time, when that's not what freedom is.
Right.
That's not what it means to be a sovereign person. But other than that, you know, Mike, I lost my dad 10 years ago. I kind of know how hard it is. You know,
yeah, it's hard, man. It's hard.
But you got to let him live through you, through to your son. You got to pass on, you know, like his legacy to you, and from you to your son.
Well, that's
from
what do you think I'm doing Mike in the Night for? Yeah, getting the word out.
You can't.
Yeah.
You know, you can't carry that burden of sadness. You know, think about the good times.
Oh, I always do.
And
Trust me.
Don't let it weigh on you too much.
It doesn't.
You know, I know.
It doesn't. Sometimes it does, but most of the time it doesn't. And I know he's in a better place.
I know how hard it could be. You know, I was a young man when it happened, and it could lead you to some dark paths. But you know, at the end of the day, you just gotta get through it.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Thanks for the advice. Thanks for the discussion. Thanks for the history lesson. Thanks for the update in your area. 26 Gunter, thank you very much. We'll stay in touch, and we'll talk very soon, I promise.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for having me on.
God bless. Bye.
Bye.
Guys, that is 26 Gunter from Wisconsin, who's giving us an update. He wanted to come on the show, hasn't talked to me in a while, so he said, yeah, I want to come on the show. kind of talk a bit. Second wave is coming around. Second wave is all designed around this. The second wave, Hua, Kung Fu, is coming around, and it's coming around from the. It's coming around. She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. Yeah. Anyways, we got Steve Stevens in the comments saying, never wore a mask from day one. I had to put on a mask. Police security guard at Shoppers Drug Mart yesterday in his place. Told me to focus on the junkies boosting perfume 4 aisles down. And yeah, 26 is a good call. 26 is a good call. All right, guys, let's...
And over the past 18 months, I've watched Barack meet those challenges with judgment, intelligence, and steel in his spine.
Okay. Someone told me to get a Joe Biden soundboard. Now, this one...
We don't beat China in the Mexican government.
Oh, the Donald Trump one's so much better. All right, we got over 200 people watching now. Thank you for joining us. All right, let's go to the comments real quick. We got Shane Caldwell saying second wave is a surprise for Trump. Layla saying, wonder what that will look like for people living there. Sad. Cy Sharp in the comments saying, are you in the West by any... Okay, people are talking to each other in the comments. Second wave, Charlie don't surf. Coming from Lord Humongous. So we got... Oh my god, I'm already yawning. I shouldn't be yawning. It's early. Woo! Mike in the night. It is 8:51. All right, let's go back to some more news before we get the next caller on here real quick. Okay, so here it is. New sound money. Caucus launched on Capitol Hill. This is it. Bank establishing a new sound currency. And yes, it's going to be backed by gold, according to what this image is saying here. Monetary system. In an era where the so-called conservatives are adding trillions to the federal deficit, sound money is more important than ever. Sound money is the linchpin of prosperous society because it protects capital and creates stability. I mean, you don't want runoff on the banking systems now, do you, right? So we got, okay, well, let's get somebody in from Australia. We got to find out what's happening. So let's go over real quick to here. Where are you? There you are. So here's some eerie images here that was brought to my attention on Facebook here. So there it is. There's a car. No, this is not a still image. These are not still images. These are live images. This is from Melbourne, Australia. Let's get our man on the show here. Let's see if we can get Buddy from Melbourne who could give us a little bit of insight on what the heck is going on here. There it is. Let's get this guy a call. Let's see if he picks up. Melbourne, Australia. Pick it up. It's Mike in the night.
The person whom you're trying to...
Damn. Damn. He usually picks up the phone. So that's our man in Melbourne, Australia, like in downtown in the downtown core of Melbourne. He is an accountant and investor and slash financial consultant. Look at that. That is Melbourne, Australia on complete lockdown. Yeah, everyone's so worried, you know, about catching COVID. I guess the transit needs to run. Wow. That's from Australia, lockeddown.com. If you guys want to join the website and check it out. Oh, there he is. Yo, Stevie. Steven, are you there?
Hi there. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for calling us back. We're live right now on Mike in the Night, and I got some very scary images here of Melbourne, Australia in complete, like, I mean, they're not, they look like still images, but they're just streets with just empty everything. Oh, we're getting a poor connection. Ah, okay, I see why. We're getting a poor connection. I see. He's in Australia, and apparently the internet there is really bad in Australia. Let's see if we could call him back. See if we could get him on Skype here. Yeah, Australia's got terrible internet, guys. If you... Hello? Yeah, Steve, you there? Mr. Thomas? Hello, Stephen Thomas?
I'm here.
Okay, all right, you're here. Sorry about that, buddy. We just lost you there for a couple of seconds, and we're getting poor connection there. What's happening in Melbourne? It looks like it's a ghost town.
Yes, it is. There's nothing happening.
So, is this second wave coming through, or is it time for the second wave, or?
Yes, that's right. But it's predominantly happening in aged care.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not in aged care, so I won't even meet anyone in there.
So are you on lockdown? Can you go outside?
For an hour a day and within 5 kilometres.
Okay, because that's what they do in the prison system. You go out for an hour a day.
Yes, I know. It's terrible. It's like an open-air prison.
Okay, so what? I mean, what do they try? What's the angle? Can you tell us what's on your mind with this? Because this has got to be on your mind.
Yeah, look, the basics, the stats or statistics are showing that it's only food places, aged care and hospitals that have a health problem with this. Other than that, everyone's pretty much okay. So why do you need to lock everything down?
It's not making any sense. It just makes zero sense for them to shut this down.
No.
Do you feel something on the horizon, Stephen? Something bigger than we could imagine? We're losing him, guys.
Yes.
Sorry, we're losing you.
Yes.
You're cutting in and out, Stephen. I know the internet.
Okay, yeah.
I know everyone.
I said yes.
I know everybody there is on the internet now at the same time because everyone's on lockdown.
Yes, that's right. The NBN here is being overused.
Uh-huh.
So what that basically means, it's very slow and poor connectivity.
So how do you stream your Netflix?
Well, we don't have it. We use YouTube instead.
Wow, we're getting a really bad poor connection. We're having a really bad connection here with Stephen Thomas. It's pretty bad. Everyone's on the internet at the same time right now in Melbourne, Australia, because everybody's home. So everyone's tied to the internet right now. So we can't even get a proper Skype call out of him out of Australia. Holy crap. So this is what's happening, folks. There it is. Australia is locked down, and he's an accountant slash a business investor there in Melbourne, Australia, and he's having a really tough time, getting his internet to work properly. Okay, let's see if we get him here. All right, let's see if we get a better connection here, buddy.
I've tried a different device.
Oh, good. Okay, okay, go ahead, tell us. Go ahead, speak. Tell us what's going on. Is this a cover-up for the housing? Is it a cover-up for the people leaving cities? I know there's a mass exodus of young folks and older people leaving the state of Victoria. What the hell's going on?
Well, basically, the place is in a mess. that's all there is to say to it. People are moving around left, right, and centre in secret to try and get out of Victoria. So there's a lot of prep going on for people to move and leave.
I heard, now hear me out, I heard from a couple of companies, like big companies, are looking to fly by night and leave Victoria.
Yes, correct.
Wow. So Victoria, so everyone's scrambling. The cost of living there is too high. No one could afford anything. The average wage earner doesn't have a chance in hell to get anything. And where are these people going? Are they going to Darwin? Are they going to Hobart? Are they going to Perth? Where are these people going? It's an island.
Well, if you're staying in Australia, you've basically got all other 5 states of Australia to go to, other than Victoria.
Now, if you had a chance to leave Victoria, where would you go?
I'd probably go to South Australia, in the country of South Australia, along the border of Victoria and South Australia in the Coorong.
Okay.
Because that's where they grow the food.
Where they grow the food. You want to be closest to where they grow the food.
Yes.
Do you see a food shortage? So, guys, people are asking in the comments who this is. Guys, this is Stephen Thomas, an accountant, financial advisor, / just a guy that understands, got his ear to the ground in Melbourne, Australia. And we were discussing the lockdown last week, and like 2 weeks ago, we were discussing the lockdown, and we're doing a follow-up now on how Melbourne isn't complete. If you saw the video I just put up, the city is like, it looks like still images, Stephen, when I see live video. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. There's no one moving around. If they are, they're homeless. They're the police and military.
What are the police? Oh, it's the military. So how far is the nearest military checkpoint to you?
About an hour away.
So close to the border of the province.
Yes, correct. Actually, it's not the province, but the local government area called Greater Melbourne, which is a city.
Okay. So what if I'm in like New South Wales and I want to go to Victoria?
Good luck.
They won't let me in.
Nope.
So it's like somebody going from, like, say, New Mexico, Arizona, trying to get into California, and they can't get into California.
Correct.
Wow. So they're locking down the states. Okay, now, hold up, Stephen. They're rolling out the 5G right now as we speak. I had somebody on the ground just north, maybe an hour's north of Melbourne, Australia, that gave me the thumbs up or gave me the green light to let me know and to let you guys know that they're unrolling 5G full blast. And not only that, they're actually unveiling or unrolling the new social credit score that was unveiled in Darwin last year.
Yeah, I understand the social credit score, but I'm just not up to date on the 5G. Maybe you can fill me in.
Well, I got basically a green light or a thumbs up from somebody that emailed me to keep them, obviously not to say who it is, but they basically told me that they're unrolling the huge new 5G towers an hour and a half away of Melbourne, and not only that, they're also going to be they're also installing cameras too. There's another company, a major company, that's actually installing 266,000 cameras along the West Coast and along the major highways.
Yep.
So, somebody in the comments just said biometric cameras as well. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've always been a prison colony, but this just adds to the flavour.
Yeah, I know. Australia was known as a prison colony, but now, you said last time, 2 weeks ago, when we had you on Trends in the Housing Market, that it felt like you were in an open-air prison?
Yes, correct.
Wow. So have you stocked up? Like, what do you have? Are you stocked up on things? Do you have things, like, in case...
Yeah, we buy every fortnight for the time being for food.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't go monthly just yet because there's not enough stock in the shops.
Oh, so you can't even ramp up on stock?
Not yet, no. Because you've got to do it in a certain way, otherwise it gets too expensive to monthly spend.
Uh-huh. You got to do it like the Raven was doing it. How he would go in every day and buy and go to different shopping malls and different things and stocking up on tuna.
Yeah, that's right. There's every certain days of the week, certain things are available in quantity, so that's when you stock up.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you go Thursday, you'll get good fish in the supermarkets, and you'll be able to eat fish for a few days.
Mm. Well, guys, these are images behind me of Melbourne, Australia. This is from 2 days ago. It's from the Facebook page called Melbourne Lockdown Facebook page. Got a couple of thousand people following. There's the video right there. I mean, at least public transit's moving. I see a guy jogging, but that's it.
Who's he running from?
Well, I don't know if he's running from anything, but there it is, Australia lockdown. I just can't believe. So I always knew that Australia was the first domino to fall in this puzzle. I always knew that it was the guinea pig, the petri dish, the testing ground. And
yes,
I didn't think, and I told you this last time, I never imagined it would be in my lifetime, honestly. I thought it would have been 10, 20, maybe 40 years from now.
Unfortunately, it's happening right before our eyes right now.
So, okay, is this the second wave, or is this the prevention of the second wave when it gets released? Are they...
Well, this is supposed to be the second wave, but the problem is everyone knows in Melbourne especially that it's food centres, aged care and hospitals that have the major problems. Mm-hmm. Everyone else is fine. So what do you need a lockdown for?
Yeah. Why do we need a lockdown? Like, what's the point? What's the point of this? Is huge. So
yes.
Now let me ask you, what do you think is the bigger picture? Like, let's put on your tinfoil hat on. And what do you think conspiratorially is really happening?
I think conspiratorially, or even just practically, the powers that be regularly talk about command and control. Now, you only talk about that if you're a communist. You don't need to talk about that if you're a Democrat or a Libertarian in the North American point of view. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, why do you need to talk about that? Because we're supposed to be living in a democracy, but we're not.
That's a good point. We're supposed to be living in a democracy, but we are not.
Yes.
So what's the number one thing that you're in fear of right now?
Lack of food.
Lack of food.
Yes.
Do you see it? I see it happening in Australia real quick, because I got an email from somebody that's in the Australian military that actually sent me an email like 2 weeks ago telling me that the Chinese are actually spying on the Australian military and their movements and what they're doing and what they're transporting, and it's like the Chinese are like looking over your guys' shoulders.
Well, the worrying part for everyone concerned in Victoria is that a lot of Chinese nationals from China are here in Melbourne.
I just don't understand why Australia would do any business with a communist country and put themselves in that deep.
Well, that's right. We see what a lot of people outside of Melbourne and Australia don't realise is that our Premier signed with the Belt and Road Project.
Yes.
Now, normally that would be no big deal. However, the strategic way in which it's done is to get countries into debt and then buy them out.
Get countries into debt and then buy them out, yeah.
Yep. So, it's that command and control power that runs over us.
Okay, I got a question here from somebody saying, why are there so much night works in Melbourne? I heard about this. I heard this from other people. What's with all the construction at night? What are they doing?
Well, that's a combination of tunnels for roads and various other things like 5G and also just public transport extensions.
Interesting. Any ETA on when they're going to reopen the economy there?
They're talking about Christmas time here when they may have a little bit of an opening, but it won't be till 2021.
2021.
At least.
So we got somebody here in the comments saying they are buying bulk. They are bulk buying food and sending it back to China, Mike.
Yep.
So they might
especially baby formula.
Baby formula. I remember when the Chinese military.
Classic example.
Do you remember when the Chinese military docked in Sydney Harbor and the military just walked out to every store and bought all the baby formula?
That's right.
The Chinese military docked in a foreign country, in Australia, docked, everybody got off the ship and bought baby formula.
Yes. Now we need that. That's not putting it lightly. We need that.
Yeah.
Not me personally, but I'm too old for that now. But our kids need baby formula. Without the baby formula, they won't be healthy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wouldn't trust Chinese baby formula.
Michelle.
Yes.
I wouldn't trust it at all. All right, Stephen. It's been a great 15 minutes, buddy. Keep us in the loop. Let us know what's happening. Just update us. Let us know.
Sure.
We need to know what's happening in the United States. People in the United States, Canada, UK, South Africa. We need to know what the heck is happening in Australia because we don't know, and the media is full of crap.
But also, I think you guys are next.
So you think we're next?
Yes.
Okay, Stephen. Thanks for the heads up, brother. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Yes. Bye-bye. Bye.
That is our man, Stephen Thomas, financial advisor, broker, accountant in Melbourne, Australia, in the city. And watching these images go by like this and like all right, there's people here. Lots of comments going on in this section here. Wow, we have all 200 people watching. What's up, Sean? How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. I finally found myself a place on the island in an undisclosed location.
Good. So you're leaving the big city?
Oh yeah, dude. Are you nuts? Of course, I gotta get out of here. Like, where does all the food come from, right? It doesn't come from the big cities, that's for sure.
Wait, I thought it came from heaven as manna.
Actually, it comes from the grocery store.
Okay, so what's going on? What's on your mind? What do you think of this Sydney lockdown? Are you guys locked? Okay.
The fiery disintegration.
Sorry, I don't know if this thing's just playing random stuff here. So we got our man Sean, who is in an undisclosed location there in Victoria, British Columbia. So we're not in the Victoria, Melbourne, Australia, but we're in Victoria, British Columbia.
Not yet. September 1st, and I'm not moving to Victoria, British Columbia either. Somewhere else.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, away from because that's a city too. I mean, it's not
away from that city. Away from that city is what you mean.
Yeah. And then, and to be honest, I'm not a big fan of the Victoria either.
No.
But not talking about the Australian Victoria, but But yeah, I think the last caller was right. We are after New Zealand. We're next, and I think it's gonna get pretty hot and heavy in the fall. So I would recommend that people don't bring their cell phones with them wherever they go. Leave your cell phone at home in the fall and winter, because if there's one person that tests positive, in your community, or even if you order food and the guy comes to your house, and they test positive or whatever, you might be locked up in a rape cage as well. So, well, not quite at that level yet, but definitely a facility. But that's okay. You get 3 square meals a group a day, and you get constant supervision. And if you don't if you don't agree to a test, then you're gonna stay 14 days and another 14 days. Same as what New Zealand's doing. All the Commonwealth countries. China is the real experiment in all of this. China was the real blueprint that they wanted to get going around the world, and it's funny because you see all those pictures of people being locked in cages and taken away against their will, taken out of their
persecuting Christians.
Well, yeah, but like in China, in their during all this stuff, right? And the Westerners, they say, oh, well, that's so barbaric, and that would that's terrible, and that would never happen here. But then take a look at Melbourne, take a look at New Zealand starting to do that now, right? And there's legislation in place under the Quarantine Act in Canada.
Mexico.
They do have the authority to take you out of your home, and this is a really chilling part. What I'm concerned about is one single case happening in a school environment, where one kid tests positive. Even if they're not sick, they'll test positive. They'll take the kid away. You won't be able to see your kid unless you jump through all these hoops, whatever the government tells. They'll hold your kid hostage. So, I would definitely recommend to people, don't maybe consider homeschooling.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what they teach you in those indoctrination centers isn't going to be constructive or help your child grow anyway. In fact, you'll be combating the ideology imprinted on your child by the system. You'll be combating your child. You'll be fighting for that. The logic and reason back, your child's ability to think for themselves and think critically, because they haven't done that in institutions in a long time. So, yeah, I would definitely recommend. Like this is. I think it's going to happen in fall, and even Theresa Tam's like, oh, you might have to wear the face mask for 2 to 3 years. And I think the day that she announced that, there was a hang up for the vaccine in the States, where they had to be a bit more prudent with their trials, so that extended the process that they wanted to rush. So it's not exactly going the elite's way on the time frame that they want either. So I think there is a little bit of time, but in the meantime, before that vaccine, they're still gonna try to drag this out, make us suffer. As soon as the fear is gone, then that's it. Everybody's just gonna go back to the way things were. And I think during these times, don't be. I wouldn't recommend going up in arms and being violent or whatever, because if you're violent, they know what to do with you. So the best way is just to be smart. In regards to a previous caller, he said that domestication is like sort of, like you're not being aggressive anymore. I don't really see it that way. Like I see it more as you don't like to be told what to do. You don't like to be told how you should behave and how you should act. You want to be free, right? So actually in Australia, there's this famous story about a sheep. And the sheep just, he's biding his time and waiting for an opportunity to leave the herd and escape. And he actually did. They didn't find this sheep. And he was in a cave somewhere. They didn't find him till like years later. And he was happy, chilling. He would go out at night. Nobody would be around. He was living the dream. And what do you think happened to all the sheep that, did what they were told and went into the pen, right? Mm-hmm. They're probably somebody's lunch
or someone's sweater.
Yeah, and it's like sort of like the concentration camps thing, because like they need. I'm kind of jumping here, but I guess I'll just stay on topic. It's just the concentration camp thing. That guy's that's willing to think for himself, do what it takes. Jump on that wagon and put a body over you. You'll do whatever to get out of the camp. Whereas, most people were just so in denial still, so in their, under the spell of not believing what's going on and not thinking that things will happen to them. And then you have these people, these elites in any system, they need to count on the lower rungs of society, so a cop, right? So that they need to count on the Karen. I don't like to use the word Karen because it's like
But
a racial
Karen's nice,
connotation.
okay? Just Karen's nice, okay?
Yeah. Sorry to all Karens out there that are actually not buying into this crap. But yeah, like they need in the concentration camps, they needed prisoners to enforce other prisoners. And there was this experiment that was done. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but they put a bunch of bananas on top of the staircase in the lab, and they had like 3 or 4 monkeys in this lab, and they keep trying to get these bananas, but every time they got bananas, they get like sprayed down the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
And so they took one of these monkeys out of the experiment and introduced a new one in. And when that monkey tried to go up and reach for the banana, there was no water squirting. It was the other monkeys dragging that monkey down, right? Because they didn't want they figured that there'd be the consequences, right?
Of getting sprayed.
So that's kind of like the same psychology that's going on with human beings. Is they're getting out of fear, they're getting other people to enforce on other people.
Karens.
Because like these people. Yeah, I mean, I don't like to say Karen because like Karen was originally like a woman who acquiesced to authority and weaponized like and enforced authority on others just to give herself virtue signal points, to make herself look good, amongst the other sheeple, to score brownie points essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So and it turned into this like, white lady, and then this Karen is not wearing a mask kind of thing. So they flipped that, and you find this a lot happening like in Satanic Panic days in like the 80s, with
Mm-hmm.
Kiss. Well, that was late 70s, but the Satanic Panic, like these people actually do this stuff, but then they'll release stuff out there that goes nowhere, that is kind of a hoax. And to discredit the whole narrative of, well, there's actually people doing these sort of things, which there were.
Mm-hmm.
So they create a straw man, and they get the public to attack that straw man and poke a bunch of holes in it. Meanwhile, they get off scot-free doing the actual thing that people were that were concerned about, right? So it's the same with how they're doing the mask thing. Like the mask, like the whole thing is to humiliate you. Like that's what propaganda is. Propaganda isn't trying to get you to like it isn't even modifying the truth. Sometimes propaganda doesn't even hide the fact that it's mocking you. So like for example, like the dancing nurses. Meanwhile, while the mainstream media shows you TikTok videos of dancing nurses, you have the narrative that the hospitals are full, over capacity, everybody's dying, be scared, right?
And I said, I had a upper respiratory nurse for a big hospital here in Canada. I'm not going to mention the name of the hospital because she might get in trouble. And she told me that in a big city, and she works with the respiratory machines and all that stuff in the ICU. And she told me one person died from COVID since January. One.
Yeah.
One. And they were riddled with a ton of other underlying sicknesses.
Yeah, the comorbidities, but it doesn't matter because it's like the WMD thing, It's like, oh, there were no weapons of mass destruction. Oh, well, we're in Iraq anyway. We've gone this far. We're in Afghanistan anyway. After they get what they want, when the war machine's in, it's in. And right now the war is against us. And it has been against us for quite some time. Governments around the world, there already is a new world order, or like a global governance. There already is that. When you look at the TV or you look at like on the internet and you see like the thing, how different and how all these other countries are, like China, in contrast to us, like it's the same people that they are beholden to. The same people they're beholden to in communist countries are the same group of people that are beholden to in Western society, because everybody owes the IMF, everybody owes the World Bank,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's like Game of Thrones, where the Iron Bank, right? The Iron Bank has lasted longer than all the empires in the in that book. So it's been like that, and that's part of the like predictive programming stuff too. Is just to like you can't even believe it's real, yeah, it's really insane. It's really ingenious how they're putting all these experiments on us at the same time. There was this video game called Fallout, and in Fallout, they had a nuclear blast, right? And everybody would get into these special bunkers called vaults. But in every one of these vaults, there was a different experiment going on. So like that's what they're kind of doing around the world, is they're doing experiments on, how far can we push it in Melbourne, right? How far can we push it? Let's go easy on Sweden. And they're trying a bunch of different things to see which works, because they've been studying us for a long time. They have us all figured out, all our personality types, who we are, our behaviors, all that information that you were asking me about, like why do they need it? Well, like they're going to use it in your lifetime. They're going to use it on you and me and everybody. If there's one thing I could give Bolsheviks credit for, or communists credit for, is they're very organized in finding out who the dissenters are. And now more
they got
than
long
ever,
lists.
Yeah. Even back in the day, they knew whose house to go to. They knew exactly who would start some trouble. And last call, I was saying, like, well, every generation they try to radicalize people even more and more. So that there's a big jump from the late 40s to the 60s. There was a bit of creep in the 50s toward the sort of 60s extremism, because like if you were to look at the 40s versus and contrast that with the 60s, you'd say, well, like that's pretty radical in comparison to the 40s, right? And that's what's kind of going on right now, where like the 80s and 90s weren't all that crazy, but then you see this slow creep into the normalization of pedos. And the propaganda, the children's toys having buttons in inappropriate spots. There's just everything's going backward. Degeneracy, hookup culture. Things are starting to degrade in that way. And
well, people are losing God, in my opinion. People are losing God, and then there's are distancing themselves more and more from God.
Yeah, and they're losing their perception of what God constitutes.
And
God
morals
to me might not be God to you, right? And the values, the universalized values and ethics of Christianity, they're universalized. So stealing from a cookie jar is the same thing as stealing from a bank. Stealing is stealing, right? But now they're saying, well, everything's subjective. The facts don't matter,
right? So
I can justify violence against you because of the color of your skin, but you don't have the justification to do anybody else. If you're European, you're considered one culture, and that's not true. There's many different cultures in Europe. And your skin is being treated like a uniform. They're incorporating religious ideologies, the ones that are oppressive from whatever religion they can, and they're applying it to the masses. Original sin would be an example of one, right? You're guilty because of the way that you're born. And if you didn't do anything wrong, well, your grandparents did something wrong, which also isn't true, because a lot of people that came to America came here after all of that stuff. So you can't reason with these people. They've been so indoctrinated, just like people were in the 60s. It was just an incremental step to get to where we are today. A lot of planning has been done for the past at least 50 years. There's been some small modifications, like originally they wanted to unleash Ebola on the world, but the problem with Ebola is that it kills people too quickly and can't spread quick enough. It can't get out there. It kind of fizzles out too quick. So they modify their plans along the way. Every spring they release a flu virus on the world. Happens every spring. They do experimental releases, I think they're called. And so what you're going to probably expect is the reason I say don't be really like violent and aggressive in opposition is because that's exactly what these people want. It fuels them. It turns you into a bad guy, and both the lines get blurred, and your side and the other side are both going to be responsible for the bloodshed of innocent people. So it's going to be the innocent people that are going to suffer the most because of this, this genius out there who's like, well, you know what? There's a anti-white lobby going on, and you know what? I am a neo-Nazi, and then they said, screw it, So don't use your words. Try to do what you can. Know who your friends are. and do what you can to stock up on the food and the crypto or the gold. They want to switch to an energy currency, an energy-based currency. They want to track your input of calories, and they want to track your output of calories. Like, that's the level in which they want to control our daily lives. And that's where the Starlink, the Internet of Things comes in, your toilet tracking. I think I've gone through this with on the show before, but it's going to be energy based or credit based, and you'll get a cap on your credits. So if your smart meter runs out of credits or whatever, too bad. You spent all your allotted credits. Even if there's a mistake, even if there's nobody you can go to rectify that mistake. If there's something going on, you get a ticket and you pay off the ticket, but then it doesn't show that you're paid off. You have to go to another department, and that department's saying, no, you don't go to us, you go to the other department. So
fill out the green form and stand in line number 4, and then when you get through, they tell you, oh, you have to go back. Don't get snippy with me, sir.
Yeah, and then it's like some sort of like a waiting, like that Beetlejuice. I remember Beetlejuice in the back in the day. You took like a number that was like 500 years waiting list or whatever, right? That's what the kind of, because it's meant to demoralize you. That's what the communist communism isn't an economical ideology or a mechanism. Like, capitalism is more of an economical instrument.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not about that with communism. It's about power and control. So, Mao Zedong, for example, he manufactured the famines. He intentionally got people in famines, just like they're trying to do around the world now. Because if you control the food, if you control everything people need to live, the power, like your heat, your food, even your garbage, okay? Even your garbage. You living in Canada, I don't know if you've seen or noticed any dumpsters. You'll see, I've seen dumpsters that say Revolution Disposal with the big communist fists. That's very common in BC, at least.
Mm-hmm.
It's a green bin. Like, they're owned by communists. That company's owned by communists. Or Progressive Disposal,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because they like to shred documents, right? They like to, go through people. Like, they like to control every little aspect. Even having a strike. Right, so you have a garbage strike, and then the community stinks up, right? I think Yuri Bismanov talked a little bit about this too, but it's about humiliating the masses, and it's essentially this mask thing and these contradictions that you hear is basically somebody the guy telling Winston, how many fingers am I holding up? Mm-hmm. That's what it is. That's just a broadcast to the global community that you have to acquiesce, even if it's not true, even as BS. Mentally, like, you have to shut up and you have to deal with it and just go. And I think if you could do small things, if people could do small things, if there's a park and the only thing stopping you from entering the park is a police tape, maybe take down that police tape, because other people will walk by and they'll go in. Right? If they don't see a police tape, they'll be like, "Oh, must be open," right?
Mm.
And if you do just really small things to stand up, and even like if you don't see a guy or a girl with a mask on in a grocery store, maybe thank them, because over time, what happens is the people that aren't wearing masks, they feel like they're becoming the crazy people. They feel like it's them that might, like, am I crazy? Right? They question themselves.
I got an idea. We should call ourselves the Wolverines.
Oh yeah, what's that?
Our group, it's a Red Dawn. It's a Red Dawn inside joke. If you watch the movie Red Dawn from 1982, you'll know what I mean by Wolverines. Have you seen the Red Dawn from? I know you're young. You're younger than me, Sean. But
no.
have you seen the Red?
No. I mean, I am a fan of older material, because like if you look at the older movies,
okay,
that
before the next time we talk, okay, I'm going to ask you for a favor. You got to watch the Red Dawn. It's with Patrick Swayze, Charlie Sheen, C. Thomas Howell, Ralph Macchio. There's a lot of famous actors in there when they were really young, and everything you mentioned or said to do, like this, what you've been talking about, is exactly what happens in that movie. Don't watch the new Red Dawn; it's garbage. Watch the one from 1980, 81, 82 with Patrick Swayze. Right. Yeah, there's so many people in the comments saying Wolverines. Yeah, Supreme Canada Wolverines.
Back in the day, I mean, at least movies and Hollywood and all that stuff was more character driven and more story driven. Now it's all like, low attention span. Here's a bunch of flashy lights. We're going to revise the original story that this is based off of because we're doing a carbon copy or just a redub of something that was done 50 years ago. But yeah, and another thing too is like the soy content. They want us to up the soy. They've been doing this for a long time. That's where you get the soy boy phenomenon. Like they're demasculating men by trying to get them to eat soy-based products, and that's why you see even you go to the supermarket.
I don't eat any soy-based products. Well, what is it? Like, what is that?
Well, if you go to a supermarket and you want to buy like breaded chicken wings or chicken nuggets, right, from a supermarket, pre-done or whatever, if you read the box, it's gonna say like soy. There's gonna be soy in there. They're putting soy in everything. And they've been doing it for quite a time. And what that does is raises your estrogen levels and lowers your testosterone. And that's what they've been doing for quite some time.
And that's dangerous. You get man boobs.
Yeah, potentially, but like it's the emasculation. And it also bumps up the estrogen in women, and I theorize that's why women girls are starting to develop at earlier ages, in combination with the fact that the lack of like there's a R versus K selection theory. I won't get into that because it's kind of outside the scope of this, but there's they've been messing with us for quite some time in terms of what they put in our food. The vaccine that they want to give us, again with the challenge studies, it hasn't been successful. And these RNA vaccines change the epithelial cells of your lungs and your heart, and will be passed down to future generations. And I believe this is because they want to make people GMOs, because then again you can't apply to your natural rights. And already, like the Constitution, speaking of the Constitution, a previous caller, Constitution has long been debauched and trampled. It was based on natural law. And with the presumption of natural law, but now we have positive law, and positive law basically allows the state to govern your rights, not your inalienable rights. You don't get inalienable rights. The state determines that. So and common law, British common law is kind of also on the presumption of positive law as well, positive rights, where the government affords you your rights. But the Magna Carta was based on natural rights.
It was
natural rights. You don't have to be religious to believe in natural rights. I mean, it's about what you cannot not know. It's based on your humanity, and that's got long for the Constitution. As far as that goes, it's gone long by the wayside. Every cop that gives you a fine, every cop that unlawfully detains you or charges you for a victimless crime like pot possession, they're not following the Constitution. They're following edicts by the government, and a lot of these are not laws, by the way. These are decrees by the government. So I guess it's up to the cop whether they want to acknowledge the law of the land or the law of the sea, which is the Admiralty Maritime Law, which has been brought up by previous callers in previous shows.
Eduardo brought that up.
Yeah, and that's the law of the British Empire. That's what because they were, it goes back to the Venetians as well. Like it goes back a long ways. This the law of the sea. The golden rule. Their golden rule is he who has the gold makes the rules. It's not Jesus's golden rule, that's for sure. But yeah, that's pretty much it. For me, I don't want to take up too much of your time. But I just wanted you to know that
you covered a lot of topics. You basically brought up a few things that we should have recovered or brought back up. You brought it back up. Some things that we haven't touched on in a while, which is good. And you covered on some current events, and you're covering on some psychological. And it's basically a war for our minds.
It is a war for our to take over our minds, and it's a spiritual war. And pick your battles, but a lot of the battles people I think ought to pick are small battles. Because the small battles give the state less justification to take you away and your kids never see you again. So don't do anything stupid, but stand your ground where you can, because we're all gonna need a community and people we can trust not to, for lack of a better term, Karen out on us.
Karen out. Okay.
So,
All right, Mr. Sean. Yeah, congratulations on finding a new place, and we will talk hopefully soon, or you'll probably come up and see me again when you can. And
yeah, if I don't get taken away for inflexibility for opinion or something, yeah, hopefully I can talk to you soon. And that was an actual charge in Bolshevik Russia. They didn't need to take you away for a crime; they could just take you away and declare you insane. Because after all, why would you be complaining about this perfect utopia we live in, right?
Mm-hmm. And you don't want to call the state a liar either.
Oh, no, definitely not. Especially in the Philippines now. I think they made a law recently. You can't criticize your overlords. So.
That's correct, yeah. All right, Mr. Sean. God bless. We'll talk soon, okay?
Cheers, Mike. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
That is Sean, who finally got himself out of the city. Woo! And I got one more woo for you guys. Sean's getting out of the city. Now, who would have thought?
I understand that you're building a nice $2.5 billion car factory in Mexico.
Who would have thought that we've been on Mike in the Night tonight? We'd be on Mike in the Night tonight, just talking, hanging out, and we're discussing now. We're at a point where, see, back in the day, now let's go back to the beginning of the show where I was talking about dying. They even got us on dying. The government has us on dying. And what am I talking about? Here it is. As a Christian, I'm a Christian, and I'm not preaching. Believe me, I'm not. I'm not afraid to die. I know where I'm going to go. I know what's waiting for me, and that's just me, right? But the government don't like that. And when the government doesn't like that, and when you don't have a fear to die, you're more willing to stand up. You're willing to talk. You're willing to not to be afraid, to put yourself on the line to save others, to martyr yourself. And I think wholeheartedly that this is why they've been trying to abolish Christianity, because they want to get rid of it or make it a farce or do whatever they can or make the church look like crap. But when you peel back the layers, you'll start finding out the truths. Now, when you're not in fear of dying and you're not scared to die, the government has nothing over you. Then, a couple of centuries down the road, people were afraid to talk at work for losing their jobs. People were afraid to express opinion. People were afraid to tell people who they're voting for at work because they might lose their jobs. So people start losing their rights and freedoms at work. I had a guy email me and tell me, look, man, I can't be subscribed to you, Mike. I sent you some money on PayPal, but I can't be subscribed to you because if my boss finds out that I'm watching your channel, he'll fire me for expressing or listening to opinions from others. So it went from them trying to indoctrinate you in fear of dying, like, oh, you're going to die if you don't do this. Oh, you're going to die. I'm not scared to die. So then what's next? Oh, you're going to lose your job. I work for myself. Oh, they're going to audit you now. My taxes are up to date. I mean, if they want to audit me and give me back a return because I pay too much, go ahead. And the thing is, we can't lose that fire. They're trying to pick apart everything one by one. And I believe wholeheartedly they're getting rid, or they're trying to abolish, or trying to put religion in the back seat so people can be at one with themselves. People can have hope. It's like that movie I told everyone to watch, Silence, by Martin Scorsese. It's on Netflix. It's about the Portuguese spreading Christianity to Japan in the 1500s, and they were being persecuted for doing that because it gave people hope, and people had a hope, and the governance or the emperor of Japan did not like people getting hope, because then people were no longer afraid to die. And that's what's happening right now. They're starting to take away and peel back what they can from us and take away from us anyways. I just wanted to throw that out there. Okay. All right. Let's do a quick channel plug, guys, before we get our next caller on. Let's do just a few minutes of catch up on some news here. We already went over what happened in Lebanon. So let's go to article scan here. Here it is, guys. Thousands of cars for miles line up for Dallas food banks. All that quickly, channel plug. Okay, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. A lot of people aren't subscribed. Less than 18% are subscribed to the channel according to YouTube analytics. So if you haven't subscribed, there's a lot of Mike in the Nights here with tons of callers going back hundreds of episodes. Trends in the housing market. Set your reminders, guys, for this Mike in the Nights. The political carnival sideshow. Set your reminders for that. Also, guys, don't forget to shop Teespring if you guys want to pick up a bag, or if you guys want to pick up a something, Mike in the Night or Trends in the Housing Market. We even have Supreme mugs. We got the Merit Stalker here with a mask and a mug. We got T-shirts. We got all kinds of cool stuff. If you guys want to... Ooh, here we go. Okay, we got a link sent to me by somebody right now. No plans to change the course in BC as COVID-19 rebounds to peak levels. Oh, this is from today, from 3 hours ago. COVID is going back to peak levels. What are they doing? What are these people doing? All right, here I am on Instagram. I'm going to give you guys my... Did I put my Facebook? Yeah, you got my Facebook there. Guys, don't forget to follow me on Instagram if you guys want to. If you want to send me any show tips, go ahead and send me some show tips there. You're welcome. I do try to get to everyone's messages. Guys, Art by Dano. Don't forget to check him out. This guy's really good. He does caricatures in California, and he's down to earth. He understands. He's one of us. He knows what's going on. He's actually making a caricature for me, and he's going to be mailing it to me here to my home. And don't forget to check out the Lost Canuck. Here he is, guys. Let's see if anyone subbed. Here he goes, guys. The Lost Canuck. Don't forget to subscribe to him. We found his channel. Here it is, the Lost Canuck. Check it out if you get some time. All right. All right, let's go over a bit of news here real quick before we get our next caller on, if that's okay, guys, please. So here it is. Thousands of cars for miles long line up for Dallas Food Bank as COVID unemployment cripples Texas. There it is there. So claims are going down. So... Oh, we got Liam from Southeast Asia. Liam, what's up, buddy?
Hi, sorry if I interrupted your news. You was going to do some news.
No, that's okay, buddy. What's going on? What you want to tell us something?
Yeah, but I have to be very careful of how I talk about this, because I'm not feeling suicidal right now.
Okay, so you got to be careful. Are you using a VPN or something?
No, I'm not.
Okay. So what is it that you need to tell us?
Okay, so do you remember back when everything started in January from China?
Yes.
And you remember all the videos coming out on social media, people collapsing, people having spasm attacks, people just dropping down like flies, right?
Right, I remember that, yeah.
So have you seen has anyone in the chat as well, if anyone in the chat has seen a single video similar to the China ones outside of China, in the Western world, anywhere else in Asia?
No. You're in Thailand, and you could see it for yourself. Have you seen it there?
Nope.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen any other video surfacing through social media, through any other form of media. And if that happened, let's say in Louisiana or New York on the street, that would spread like wildfire if it did.
Okay. So do you remember people being locked up in their houses, being welded shut into their house?
Yeah, I remember that many times. We covered that in mid-January.
And I'm sure you've not seen anyone in any other country being welded shut. Not in India, not in anywhere else.
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay. And do you remember the Economist magazine, The World in 2019?
Yes.
And you got the 4 horsemen on the front of it?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. My idea... Actually, I sent you a link of something because it joins onto this. The actual link I need you to click on, I'll send it to you again.
No. Let me see. It's right here. Hold on. Is it?
No. You do one with the horses. You see the horse deaths?
Hendra virus infection?
No. Go up to horse deaths leads to race.
Okay, well, you're hearing it first here on Mike in the Night. Thirsty horses die suddenly, cause unknown. Okay, so...
It's actually one above that.
Oh, it's the one above this one?
Yeah. Horse deaths lead to race against blah, blah, blah.
Okay. From the Bangkok Post. Horse deaths lead to race against time. After nearly 2 months, the first ever outbreak of African horse sickness is in Thailand has wiped out 539 horses following calls for an investigation. The Department of Livestock Development will on Monday launch a probe into the cause of the outbreak.
And just underneath that it says the deadly plague was officially announced on March 27. So you have a plague affecting horses at the peak of the global issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
March 27. And this has never happened, ever. So it says the first ever outbreak. So in the history of Thailand, it's never happened.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're connecting some dots, okay, the world's in the peak of a global pandemic. And never before has this ever happened in Thailand for this illness to just wipe out horses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so after that link, if you click on the link that says Hendra, it should be near the bottom of the links that I sent you.
Hendra virus.
Yeah.
Got it.
So Hendra virus is a rare emerging virus that causes fatalities and disease in horses and humans.
And humans, okay.
And it was initially found in Australia in 1994, so it's not very old.
Okay.
So my ideas are, there's not one Wuhan wiggle, there's 4. One is called Hendra, one is called Nipah, one is Corona, and one possibly is the big Ebola.
Okay.
The first case in the United States, do you remember the first case that happened in the United States?
Of Ebola?
No, of the global pandemic,
Yeah, it was sometime in March and they shut down the whole country.
So I checked, the first case was in King County, Washington.
King County is a very heavily Chinese area.
Mm-hmm. I just thought it was strange as King County, that's all. Because I feel that possibly, this is all possibly, I'm not confirming anything, but possibly there's 4 different viruses going around, and the USA got possibly the Corona, Europe's possibly got the Nipah, Australia, Asia possibly got the Hendra, and did China get the Ebola?
So are you saying that the viruses are becoming miscategorized purposely because there's different viruses going in different continents?
Well, I'm sure you've even seen in the news a few months ago, they were even openly saying that there's so many versions of this virus. Remember when they were saying like there's more than one version?
Yes.
And if you look at the Nipah, the Hendra, Corona, and Ebola, they all have pretty much the same symptoms.
And what about all the dead birds and fish? Somebody, Mr. Wright, commented in the comment section, dead birds and fish. If you watch a couple of newscasts, they're just all tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of fish washing up the shore, tens of thousands of hundreds of thousands of birds just falling out of the sky.
Is this in China?
All over the world. Like this was in, I think this was in Dade County last week, where they had tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of fish washing up the shore.
Yeah,
all kinds of species. Yeah,
I don't know. I can't explain that.
Yeah,
I haven't looked into it.
So there's
example. So the Nipah, the incubation period for Nipah is believed to be up to around 14 days, and can last as long as 45 days. So I don't know if you remember. Again, a few months ago, they were saying it could be more than 14 days. It could be 30 days or more. Right.
Right.
And obviously, with the sudden deaths of horses at the peak of the global situation, in a country that has never had this ever happen in the history of the country, this kind of seems a bit strange, right?
It does. It seems very off the rails. So we're going to connect. Well, okay, let's connect the dots. Do you think it was brought in? Do you think it's something they're releasing? Joseph Romero just put something up real good. They're blaming global warming for animal deaths. Yeah. So is it global warming? What is it, dude?
Well, it's a plan, right? It's a plan. This is already pre-planned. And I sent you another link from the WHO that confirms the plan. That's the most recent link that I just sent you.
A world at risk. Annual report on global preparedness for health emergencies.
So if you scroll down, you'll see that
7
these
urgent actions.
This is a letter to governments, and the governments need to do everything on this list before September 2020.
So it says, number 1, heads of government must commit and invest. Number 2, countries and regional organizations must lead by example. Number 3, all countries must build strong systems. Number 4, countries, donors, and multilateral institutions must be prepared for the worst. Number 5, financing institutions must link preparedness with financial risk planning. And number 6, developed assistance funders must create incentives and increasing funding for preparedness. And number 7, the United Nations must strengthen coordination mechanisms.
All by September 2020.
In like 5, 10, 8 weeks?
Yeah, it's all going to be done. But this was released way before this.
Wow. The world at risk. So what the
So
heck?
what's going to happen after September 2020? Everyone's already been putting it in your mind that the second wave, right, for the fall and winter.
Yeah, because it's perfect timing because of the election in the States too.
There's many reasons. Also, winter time, you know, cold weather,
cold flu season. So they
I don't know. I'm stretching, but it's too many things, right? For me, the biggest thing is, why have we not seen the same craziness in China in the rest of the world? You know, blocking villages with 10-foot walls of soil,
and putting those huge monolithic blocks on major highways to stop people from leaving.
Yeah.
You know, things like that, and people shaking all over the place, and
also, like you had recent your caller in he was in Melbourne, right?
He was in Melbourne. That's correct. He's in the middle of that lockdown in that major city.
So why would they lock down for a couple of hundred cases if it wasn't something different than what they're telling us?
Well, apparently 3 people died there since January.
Wow. Jesus Christ.
I think more people died falling down the stairs than that.
See, this is the thing. Doesn't make sense, right? It does not make sense.
I know it doesn't make sense, and that's why we're on here giving our opinions.
So yeah, but I don't know. What do you think? Do you think there could be? Because also think about this: why is there over 140 countries making their own vaccine?
I don't know, man. They want to be on the market. They want to be able to get the winning lottery ticket, I guess. I mean, if your country created that vaccine, you guys could be rich overnight, right?
So are you going to be the first in line to get?
Oh,
one of
buddy, I'll be MIA.
You're not going to be sitting outside the shop at like 2:00 in the morning to be on the first in line.
Mm-hmm. No. I'll be.
Why?
Man, I'll be. I don't know. I just.
We're all in this together. Remember, we got to do our part.
Did you hear about that rumor going around that they're thinking of doing door-to-door mandatory vaccinations?
I haven't heard that, but it doesn't surprise me.
Well, I heard that somewhere in Washington, not Washington State, like Washington D.C. or area. I heard they're going to do door-to-door mandatory vaccinations, and they're going to do room sweeps to make sure no one's hiding.
And they actually do have laws in place that actually state that they can force you to have these vaccines.
Yes.
If they suspect you of having issues. These laws, I'd have to dig them all out. But
Mr. Wright is saying that America is saying that the Department of Defense will issue the vaccines.
Yeah. Because, as I just said, all these pretty much all countries have laws to state that you have to take it, and they'll force it on you because of the good of the rest of the population, right?
Right.
So they can't have 20 people running around the country infecting the rest of the population. So sorry, sir, you need to come with me and take this vaccine. So whether you want it or not, and whether you're going to say I'm not going to take it, well, you're not going to have a choice.
Yeah.
And also, do you remember the program?
Trump.
I think it was in Norway or Sweden it first started. It was what was it called? Where they give you money, you don't have to work, and they give the government just gives you free money.
Yeah, it's called universal basic income. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that was a pre-planned for what's coming?
It could be. I do have a few articles I want to hit on tonight before I end the show that does talk about universal basic income. And
because it could also tie into the vaccine where, well, if you want this money because there's no jobs left.
Oh no! I thought they were going to do where if you want to fly this plane to go see your sick mom.
Yeah, that's another one. Because I don't know. Did I tell you about something that I'm being forced to do? And it's regarding traveling.
What are you being forced to do?
If I want to get on an airplane to go back to the UK, Etihad Airways are making it mandatory for me to take a test 96 hours before I fly. If I show up at the airport without a certificate to show that I've took the test, they won't let me fly.
Yeah. So are you stuck in Thailand right now?
I'm not really stuck. I could leave if I wanted to leave. But I'm stuck if I didn't want to take the test, right? And the cost of the test is I have to pay for the test. It's not cheap. $2 $210 US.
$210 US?
Yeah, just to take this test, just for a piece of paper.
That's
right?
like $300 Canadian.
Yeah. A mandatory. And they're not going to pay for it. The airline's not going to pay for it. And you can't just choose where you want to go and take the test. Like, you can't just say, let me have a look around, see which hospital is the cheapest. They have a contract with one hospital, and you can only go to one hospital to take this test.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So imagine when it comes to December and you want to fly somewhere, if you're able to, they might just say, well, if you don't have the vaccine, you're not flying.
All right.
So here's the question again. Would you take the vaccine if it meant that you wanted to fly, or would you say, okay, I'm not flying anymore, ever again?
Well, I could drive. I could drive to very far. I take really bizarre, obscure road trips. Like I drove to Miami. I could drive to Mexico City. I could drive to Toronto. I'm not worried about taking 3 to 5 to 10 days to drive somewhere. I'm not worried about that. You know what I'm saying? So I could always pull one of those if I'm going over land. But if I have to go to Portugal, then that's different. I'm going to have to find a Portuguese Army Naval that's stationed somewhere.
So forget flying. What about if you wanted to go to your local supermarket?
Yeah, then it's like, I don't know, man. I got to weigh out the... I'll get the vaccine. And my kids don't, and my family, but I'll do the supermarket, and I'll do everything that I could do as being vaccinated.
So what if the kids want to go to school?
I'll just homeschool them, like you said.
Okay. You see the point, right? They're gonna get you at every single angle. And if you don't have that ID that says that you've had it, then you're not going to be able to survive in this new world.
Mm-hmm. I understand.
So,
I know what they're strong arming us, right?
Yeah, it's same
like, it's like when I talked about death, how they've even taken death off the table for us. They've making it fear to make us in fear of dying, where most of us are not in fear of dying, but they're trying to get that, oh, well, you're going to die and this and that. And if you don't, you want your friends to die or old folks to die. They're trying to find reasons, to instill fear, right? Now, if you're not scared of dying, then the government doesn't have one over you. Now this is different. Now, if you want to fly, you got to take the juice.
It's
changing.
In a really sad situation, like a really sad thought of mine, is that, you know what? Yeah, it might be better off that I die, because would you want to live in this kind of world?
No. See, that's the thing.
I don't want to live in this kind of world, man.
But then it goes...
Seriously, it makes me cry, man. Seriously, I feel like crying right now. Because can you imagine what the world's going to be like in 10 years? Or for your kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to really bring up your kids, or any children. Can you imagine what the world's going to be like for them? Jesus. I don't know. I can't live in this world, man. Seriously.
Yeah.
It's sad, right?
I understand. I totally understand.
Like, you go back to when you was a kid, you're playing outside, going on a little adventures with your mates, right? You can't do any of that these days. It's just as simple a thing as having freedom as a kid to explore and to experience, adventures and climbing up trees and going fishing with your mates, or just random stuff, right?
Yeah.
Kids can't
adventures, bike rides.
Yeah.
Go into the dumpsters and try and find stuff that people threw away. I know what you mean, man.
All right, but anyway, I'll let someone else come on and.
All right, Liam. God bless you.
I'll take it easy. Bye.
So, would you want to live in a world like that? That is the question. Some really deep words here, very deep, profound words from our friend Liam. Liam here, who is, I wouldn't say stuck in Thailand, but he's been in Thailand for a long time. I appreciate him sending this. Okay, at least 3 million Kenyans face acute food shortage. 3 million Kenyans are affected. Herbal informational settlements because of the current pandemic. Again, the pandemic. China facing food shortage after months of flooding and infestations. I get the food shortage here. I could see that. And that's becoming a huge. And 706 tons. Despite the massive floods of rice fields, purchases of rice reached 2.641 million tons year-on-year, increase of 126,000 tons. Corn is also at risk. And UBI, man, there's so much UBI, Universal Basic Income, from the last 3 days alone. Our generation's support grows for Universal Basic Income. A new overview report for the Stanford UBI lab. A guaranteed basic income makes sense. UBI's time has come. Why Andrew Yang's push for Universal Basic Income is making a comeback. UBI is recession pushing U.S. towards permanent cash payments. Is the pandemic finally a UBI moment? Universal Basic Income gains momentum in America. Fitch upgrades UBI to BBB, whatever. Basic income could virtually eliminate poverty in the United States. So, I mean, there's so many articles that are out there right now in the last week alone. Man, holy smokes.
We can't beat Mexico at the border or in trade.
All right, let's see if we could... I want to see, call an old friend. See how he's doing. Hello?
How's it going?
It's going good. What are you up to, buddy?
Just sitting in my truck.
Are you listening? You listening to the show?
Yeah, listening and just kind of watching. Yeah.
All right. So what's on your mind, buddy? You did call the food shortage like almost a year ago.
In November, I called the food shortage.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I know you did.
I knew that was a no-brainer, man. That one was easy to see. They called those 100 million pigs in China, the cod fishing on the West Coast, the corn in Africa, the wheat. You can see what they're doing. Why is this not obvious to everyone in the room? Everybody. Why is this not obvious?
I think it is obvious for everyone in this room. I'm not saying it's yeah.
Yeah, but people still talk like there's oh God, I'm tired of talk. People still talk like there's an election. Get it?
Mm-hmm.
Listen, if you think for 1 minute that the bankers are going to leave the presidential election to chance, then you got to leave the room. There's no room for you in here. If you think that that is going to be left to chance, you're not thinking. Think about it. Give me the money of a nation. I care not who's in power. Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Cleared that one. Let's not revisit that again. Now that we know that those elections are fixed, that guy's picked to select it a long time ago. Got to get that one through. Once you realize that the whole thing is BS, everything is BS, then we can start to build up from the ground. Then we can start to figure out what's really going on here. I can't believe that it's just not that obvious to everybody. I'm tired of telling people. I'm just tired of it. Tired. So tired, Mike. What was the big announcement I was going to make, Mike?
I don't know. Tell us.
I don't know. You said I had an announcement.
Yeah, on last week's show, I said I'm going to have the Raven on next week with a very major announcement he needs to make. And I was just calling my time or calling the time because I knew that something will happen within the next week that you're going to have to come on and talk about.
I got the for sale sign up on my house here.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the timing's perfect on that one.
You know what? My realtor's actually in the room right now.
Mm-hmm.
She said there's lots of people calling, so some developers. I have a lot, eh? Here, I'm looking at the sign right now. Double lot.
Mm-hmm.
Call for appointment. Double lot. So there's a lot here, but you could also triplex this duplex. It's a duplex with a basement that I made. I lowered the basement, made it ready for a triplex, and there's an empty lot. So the lot's worth $125,000. It's right on the corner of the street. So we're hoping for 420s, 450, somewhere's in there. I'm gonna buy some junior minors.
Yeah,
that's about it. That's my big announcement.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So where do you now? I want to discuss with you. You already talked about food shortage. We already talked about this. We've already told people to preparedness, to get ready. Make sure you get your ducks in a row. Make sure you make yourself, be good with God, or you know what I'm saying. Make your peace with God. Get everything ready. Now, What do you think of the second wave? What's the timing going to be on it? You think it's
I,
going to...
I, I, I don't look at the second wave. I don't look at the first wave. I
I
don't
know
look
it's
at all
not
that.
real. I know. Okay, I'm not saying the second wave is real. I'm saying, when do you think they're going to announce the second wave? When do you think they're going to be ready to announce the second wave?
Dad, I don't really care about that. I care about the first wave. The first wave, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Not COVID. I don't care about COVID. COVID's a joke.
No, I'm talking...
The first wave...
I understand...
The first wave...
Go.
Of depopulation. First wave of depopulation. When's that coming? You pissed off all the black people, the white people, the masked people, the non-masked people, the Democrats, the Republicans, the LGBTQT. You pissed off everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You're shaking up the bee's nest. Get the election. Going to just drive everyone nuts with Biden. Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris? Really? Really? Could you not piss off even more people? Shake that bee's nest. This is coming down. I think Sean mentioned some that time around fall. I would say probably around the election. You're going to have an event. That'll be phase 1, depopulation.
Interesting. Because the reason why I'm asking about this, I know the second wave, Raven, is... I know none of this is really... It's all a horse and pony show, right? I know this is all a horse and pony show, but I think when they announced the second wave, okay, I know it's not real. I don't believe in it, but I'm saying that when they announce the second wave will be the opportunity for them to usher in more crap.
Yeah, it's a very touchy game, eh? Their currency is fear. So if they don't got the fear hyped up, then they lose. Their agenda starts to lose its power, right? Got to keep the fear, pump the fear, pump the fear. Look, I'm driving down the street tonight. I see massive billboards.
Hello?
Everywhere on the back of buses. They're everywhere. It's everywhere.
What are they saying on the... We lost you for a second there. What are they saying on the billboards?
It's saying come together in a time of inequality, and it's got a guy wearing a mask. It's programming. They're programming everybody, like they're trying to. And I'll tell you, man, the majority of people out there are very easily programmed. 2020 made me realize that.
Well, you know what it was? Let's go back to the early turn of the century. Now, I talked about this at the beginning of the show of dying, and dying is important because it's part of life. Now, this is let me infuse this together, okay? One, back in the day, up until I would say the early 2000s, well, I would say the late 1990s, people wouldn't be afraid to speak at work. People wouldn't be afraid to tell people who they're voting for. People weren't afraid to speak their mind at their jobs because back in the day, you could walk away from your job and you get another job the next day, even paying you more money. Now, people are afraid to lose their jobs. Now, they got you at work where you can't even say a damn word at work. Now, they're getting... Because back in the day, you're like, oh, I'm not afraid to die. I don't care what the government's going to do to me. Who cares? They come and kill me, right? But now, people got scared at work of losing their jobs, and now they're going to force it on, and they're going to instill fear into people where they can't take a plane, or they can't cross a border, or they can't... So now that it's getting to a nitty-gritty point where they have us cornered, Raven.
I'm not cornered. I don't care. I don't care anymore.
Wolverines.
Ravenines.
But do you remember that movie? From 1982, The Red Dawn?
Yeah, no, I love that movie.
That's like the best movie ever. I watched it with my kid.
Yeah. It's a really good movie. The new one's not so good.
No, the new one's garbage.
No, we're going to be living that soon.
I know, and
we're
that's what
we're going to be living a combination of Mad Max, Road Warrior, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Motel Hell. Motel Hell.
Woo!
Where they're burying down and eating them. Oh, that's coming, man. It's coming. Like my nephew said, you've been saying this for years. Yeah, well, whatever. Hey, better a year earlier than a day late.
Yeah, that's true.
Coming. I think people, it's slow motion though, eh? Like you can see it. Oh, and that Australia, that's predictive programming. Mm-hmm. That's a penal colony.
Did you see what happened with that open air prison?
You know what? 25 million people in Australia. Where's a better place to run that? To run that little lockdown scenario
in Victoria.
To get, a test site. It's a little test site. They do it. They run them whatever country. It all depends on the size of the country. It depends on if it's communist. It depends. There's many factors on why they'll do something somewhere. Mm-hmm. Like in India, the 500 rupee and the 1,000 rupee. Boom, pulled it. Cyprus, bail-ins, right? China, communist. Try dropping COVID in Texas or in Michigan with open carry AR-15s. Try welding me in my apartment when I got an AR-15 slung around my shoulder, Not going to happen. Mm-hmm. Communist China, perfect place to release COVID. Draconian response, get the West prepped for it to hit our shores.
Like sprinkle a little bit of pixie dust on top?
Yeah, this is I would put this somewhere around grade 2 or grade 3 children in school should be figuring this out.
Yeah.
Should be repeating it over and over, trying to get people up to speed, okay? Come on. Really? I just don't see. It's so obvious. I don't know. Sound like a broken record saying that, but yeah.
All right.
Everything is a lie, Mike. It's all a lie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But people got to remember, even the cryptos, they say they come out with that new article that says, we're going to run a hypothetical crypto. I don't believe them. I think they want us to think they're going to do it. I think they're full of shit. We don't know what they're going to do, but they want us to think that. I don't believe anything. You don't believe anything they say, nothing they say.
Mm-hmm.
Saying it, they want you to think it.
Right.
No, you have to take it with a grain of salt, man. Anything those guys say.
I hear you, buddy.
I think something's coming in the fall.
All right, we'll see. Well, we'll keep you. Well, obviously, you'll be continuously coming on and telling us and updating us. Hopefully, you don't have an important message you need to say next week, because then that means nothing's happening, right? So.
Well, you know what? It's the mask thing here. Now we just went mandatory masks at Walmart. It's okay. I don't go to Walmart anymore. They're done. I'll never walk in there again. Mandatory masks at Costco. They're pushing that mandatory masks, eh? Yeah. What are you going to do?
Mike Banks is saying in the comments, the virus was released to stop the Hong Kong uprising.
No, wrong. Who gives a shit about Hong Kong? Piddly little 6 million people there? Sorry.
Mexico.
This is a depopulation event.
Mm-hmm.
80 million people a year are added to this planet. We're heating it up. That's what they want to stop. Look at all of what all the elites say. Look at all their quotes. Find out who the elite is and then type in Google quote on population. They'll tell you. They're all telling you. Ted Turner, Gates, all of them. They openly talk about it. This is a depopulation event. Predictive programming. They're getting you ready. And they're knocking out food distribution around the world. It's just, what more do you want to know? Like, do you need them to just put in a public service announcement? Attention.
Hello, this is your Detroit public service announcement to give you an update.
We would like to make you aware that you're going to be going to the other side of the grass. And you're not going to go there quickly. It's going to take 2 to 3 weeks, maybe a month of agonizing pain of not having food for you to get there. Thank you for tuning into this broadcast message. They might as well come out and say that. People will still walk around wearing masks. Oh, what do you think we should do now?
Yeah, people need to be led. That's the problem.
It's just, it's embarrassing, really. Like, either that or I am just completely wrong. Way off the charts, man.
Mm-hmm.
Way off the charts. I don't think so. I think I'm looking at all the red flags.
China.
You got to read everything. You got to look at the weather. You got to look at the gold. You got to look at the cryptos. You got to look at everything around the world. Look for those red flags, man. They're popping up all over the place. And with food distribution and that, tons of red flags. People should be really tuning into that. I don't even know if buying food is going to help you. It may keep you a front row center for a few months to watch the world disintegrate. I don't think you can. You better have enough, like a year, 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And they go to the election and top it off around then. We're going into a winter. So, up here where we are, we're not going to fare so well in the winter if things aren't going so good.
No.
And some of the states below us are going to get pretty too. And that would be a ideal time, because the heat, people will freeze, like who knows? I think they're just getting the world so pissed off at everything. How could they actually keep it going like that for another year? Why not crescendo at the election?
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Now they're saying it could go on to 2027, 2028.
No. That's trying to prepare you. They're programming, they're just getting you ready. That's all. Lisa Tam, 2021, 2023 masks.
And they want to shut down. Remember that city I showed in Australia that was empty? That city right there, that one right there, that they're saying it's going to go on till 2022.
Yeah, it's all part of their agenda. 700,000. How many dead? 700,000?
Oh, I don't know, because when I'm getting numbers from people, like actual human beings that come and like speak to me physically, I'm not talking about what the news says, okay, Raven? I'm talking about that lady that worked as an upper respiratory or respiratory ICU nurse, stating that in one major city in Canada, one person died of it since January, in a major city in Canada. When we got 1,600 people overdose and like 900 people die of overdose on the streets. But they're more concerned about this one person that died since January in a Canadian major city. I don't want to give too much information, but also my friend that owns that respiratory ventilator machine company in Alberta, he told me that he had this big contract from the federal government to build ventilator machines, and in December, and then mid-January they canceled, or February they canceled the order on him. Say they overestimated this COVID thing, and they basically, he told me that they overestimated. Now he's in this big pickle, a lawsuit with the government for, I don't know, $41 million for ventilators that the government reneged on buying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So hold on. Then you got this guy that calls me, that's a superintendent in a major stadium, and he actually called me and told me that the government was supposed to pay rental or some sort of a fee to stop all the events in the stadiums, and they were supposed to pay the teams to stop playing or something, but in return, they're going to rent out the stadiums and use them as mortuaries or morgues and stuff, or for people or hospitals or makeshift hospitals, and they canceled that too.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot. What's happening here is there's this COVID thing is just, it's a bad flu. I know it exists, because I know in December I was sick like a dog, and the second time I got this in January, I made my will because I thought I was going to go. But everybody in my town had this. My kids' school, everybody was sick. Everybody. My wife had to go to the hospital 2 times. My mom, luckily, never had to go to the hospital, but she was very sick. Everybody had this in January. How long do you think it took for Russia to hide this when they had it? They hid this. They would have continuing hiding this today. If you know what I'm saying, if people weren't getting sick all over, and then things started to kind of fall apart for China. You know what I'm saying?
It's in China, like Xi Jinping, they said he didn't announce it right away. They weren't hiding it, Mike. They were seeding the planet. You got to seed the planet. You can't shut it down right away. We need it to get out. That's why Fauci held back the HIV drugs, the clinical trial drugs in the 80s. He wanted it to get out. So you guys have been doing this for years.
Mm-hmm. BC in the Matrix saying, I got sick in December too. Let me know if you guys got really sick in December in the comments. All right, continue.
Yeah. And okay, let's say there's 1 million dead. It's not even, I don't think it's at 1 million. I think it's less than that. When, let's say they pop the bond market, let's say we have a credit freeze. What are we looking at for starvation a day? What are we looking at? Riots, murder? When this thing lets go.
There's more children dying in the Philippines of starvation from this than there is people dying of COVID and realistically.
When this pops because of us not wanting to overflood the hospitals, okay, so we shut the world down. What are we looking at for starvation? Because of a bunch of people in this room right now with probably not much more than grade 12 can figure out that we're going to lose 1 million a day. Who's getting held for high treason when this thing falls? Because if we can figure it out, you were too stupid to be in government, or you did it on purpose. Take a pick. You're getting hung for treason. We're coming for you.
Well, I think your friend JT has no idea if he's tricking or treating.
It's stupid. Just let him go. He's like killing a handicapped person. Just let him go. He has nothing to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll apologize anyway. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Just like the guys at Nexon Mobil. When they spill or something, we're sorry.
Yeah. Well, JT does it better.
JT, good old JT.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. I'll
Yeah,
let you calm down. Take a pill and chill, relax, go to bed. What time is it?
Let's go. You're gonna see the real outcome.
Well, fall's just around the corner, buddy. I'm preparing. I'm gonna put my car in storage. I'm ready to take ready to come into winter and see what happens. Hopefully, if they decide to make this thing go away, maybe you can come and visit me next summer. Hello? Raven, are you there? Raven? Hello? Looks like we lost him. But he knows. All right, we got Tino here in Seattle saying, yo, found out 3/4 of our crew got COVID. What the hell is going on, Tino?
No, but we don't know. We don't know what's happening. Why?
I'm sorry.
And it can happen. And I will tell you that I don't think it's going to happen.
Yo, buenas tardes, felicidades, ¿cómo estás?
Muy bien, muy bien. Yeah, dude, I was just finding out that I want to say good 75% of our crew had gotten COVID. And this happened beginning of December.
So they had it in December when I had it.
So I'm believing I got it in December. And this is so weird because everybody had different reactions to it, from very mild to really, really worse. Actually, so I had it was I was really sick for 3 days. I felt lethargic, super heavy-headed, and it was it was like really bad. I never had that. Maybe a couple years where I got sick from the flu that was really bad for a good week.
So you're realizing, so you're starting to realize that everybody got this in December. Because how long do you think China could hold on to this secret?
Oh, I think they kept it a good secret till like I said, till February, and that's when they started everybody, because they had what's it called, the WHO, the organization kind of kept it in wraps.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I got it there. I know I just confirmed it because I found out that our previous guy, and he retired this last week.
Mm-hmm.
But he told one of the gals there that works and told us that, that his wife had COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
And it struck me so odd, but that's why he didn't want to come to work that much. And he was very cautious of cat, he didn't want social distance and all that stuff. So I found out his wife, and I know her too. She worked, I want to say, she's a cancer survivor.
Mm-hmm.
And when it hit her, and this happened, like I want to say, right beginning of March, and it's like, when I talked to my coworkers, like, yeah, man, you gotta do what you gotta do, take care of your wife and all that. But he kept it so hush and hush, until, like I said, last week we found out that she had COVID-19. So her symptoms was really, really like life and death.
Right.
She actually had like her lungs, all filled up. They had to pump all that stuff out of her lungs.
Yeah.
And,
so. Like for me, the second time I got it in December, then I got it in January, and it was really bad. And I even got my will done. I'm not joking. My will got done.
Yeah.
So I know that there's something happened, and China. I mean, China could only keep a secret for so long. It's a bad flu. It does affect the elderly and the older people a lot worse. You know what I'm saying?
Or even people that are very like cancer survivors, or people that have very low that have health issues. Because she's been through cancer twice, and I thought that's what she was having again. I was like 3 times. I was like, wow. But no, the coworker was he was telling me, he's like, no, he has pneumonia,
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, well, and I even asked her, are you sure she don't have COVID-19? Like, oh, no. So he was saying that just because they were restricting on our job, say, hey, if you know anybody that have COVID-19, you can't come to work. And he was coming to work. That's the thing.
But everyone already got this, so it's not. You know what I'm saying?
See, and the thing is that it's everybody has a different symptom, and the people that are very, loved ones that have poor health, heavy smokers, it just depends on every person has a different how their body reacts. But for her, she was in ICU, and she was there for a good almost 2 weeks. And she never came back after that. They told her, don't come back and stuff like that. And then I find out, then I find out my assistant, everybody's been kind of hiding it. That's the thing. That everybody, and even, in our work field is, we kind of have that tough persona. It's like, yeah, I get sick. Oh, I'll get over it, and keep working.
Right.
His symptoms, he was sick I remember he was sick, I want to say in late March. And he was sick for a whole week. And he had the symptoms of course, like the same thing I had. He actually had trouble breathing. And he was very close to go to, to the emergency. But he was toughing it out. He's like, well, I'm going to see how far I could, and he went to the regular clinic. So I'm finding, a trail within our workplace. Even our boss, he was sick. And he also was sick for a good 7 days, but he took precautions. He's like, well, I'm not coming back. He said he was tested negative, but dude, I think it's been a big cover up, just kind of,
I know,
within our workplace.
So guys, people listening, this is Tino from King County in Washington State, in just outside of Seattle. And basically,
and we were right there in the main where the pandemic kind of broke out, for where all those older people were dying. We were like less than 10 miles from where that clinic is.
And you were by CHOP too. CHOP, or what do you call that place?
Oh yeah, CHOP. Yeah, the CHOP and Chaz, whatever.
Chaz,
yeah, I mean that was also like
whatever, Macarena, yeah.
But we're starting to piece everything together, and it's like, man, you know what? It's like shit, man. It's like, and he told me, the assistant boss, he's like, yeah, I went to the doctor and they said, well, should I take a test? Like, oh no, you don't need to. A lot of doctors were declining people to take the COVID-19 test, either because they didn't have the testing, around March, because it was obviously a new virus, everybody was everybody afraid, and I don't think we were ready for it, So yeah, man, it's just crazy that it's like, I was talking to him, I was like, dude, I think you had COVID-19.
Yo,
because
Tino,
those symptoms,
Tino, did you see the images I put up earlier of Melbourne, Australia?
No, I haven't.
Dude, the town's empty. There's nobody on the streets. Go back earlier in the show and see it. You're going to actually, like, when we got that guy in from Melbourne, Australia on the phone, you're going to be like, what? Because Seattle, King County, or Washington State, they could do that to Washington State. Because Melbourne,
there's
Australia,
already talks about it.
There's like 3 million people living in that city.
So there's already talks about it that not this month, but maybe in the fall, which we're getting close, that they're going to shut down a whole shutdown city again, maybe more restrictions,
maybe
because
more
they're
military checkpoints.
Who knows? Maybe. Sort of like what New York sort of slightly been doing. But yeah, no, it's they're really afraid that the what do you call it, just that everybody's going to get sick again real bad, So we don't know for sure. Right now everything seems like everybody's listening. Majorities wearing masks, social distancing, and I mean we're opening up slowly everything, but that's what I'm hearing. They're saying the talks about that we might go shut down again.
Mr. Wright, Mr. Wright just threw up a comment, says, watch the Zero Hedge video in New York City. Everything's boarded up still. Yes, I covered that at the beginning of the show. Tino, if you get some time, go to the beginning of the show. I do cover the boarded up New York City too. All the places like big stores are all boarded up.
Oh yeah, no.
On Fifth Avenue.
There's stores going out of business, or they're boarding up because of the looting. We still have places here that's still boarded up, even around my neighborhood. They're still open, but they're afraid that they'll get looted. And I've been seeing a lot of where I live. There's been like little parts of board right here and there. Like people's been just kind of smashing and trying to either stole something or whatever.
Smash and grab.
Yeah, smash and grab. And because that's, just like what happened in Chicago. Supposedly that was a fake protest, but all those people were in it of just looting the high price where those stores are. One of our buildings got looted twice.
Wow. Wow.
That's how because we're spread out throughout through the United States, and it was looted, and it was they were gonna open up again, and that happened, and now they're shut down again.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, it's I don't know what else to say about it. It's this year's totally down the drain, and it's going to continue probably to all the way till summer next year.
Yep.
That's just my belief,
Well, but in Melbourne, they're saying it's going to go to 2022, and then in Canada, they announced 2022, 2023 or something, or it could go on for years.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's, I don't know. It's supposedly, like they said, they're supposed to be getting the vaccine end of the year, but Russia already has it, supposedly.
I know, there's too much supposedly is going on. All right, Tino, I'll let you go, brother. And
all right, man. Great talking to you.
Yeah, we'll talk soon. Hasta luego.
Buenas noches. Adios.
Buenas noches. Man, I gotta call him like on the side off the show and just talk in Spanish. I did some talking in Spanish today. But yeah. Anyways, okay, so one of our subscribers wants me to talk about something here, so I will. It's kind of important, actually. Article scan. Zimbabwe stock market. Look at it. Look at it just from 2020, from January. Look at it go nuts. Now it's crashing. I want to see if I'm going to find out if I could short the Zimbabwe markets. I don't know if I could. I'm going to find out, but there it is right there. Look at that. Holy crap. Okay. And then he sent me this one too. CMHC urges lenders to stop offering so many high-risk mortgages. Oh, actually, with this, the Venezuelan stock market is actually the same. It's going up. And let me see if I could find it here. The TSX, more. Let's see if I could find the Venezuela. Venezuela, ¿dónde estás? ¿Dónde estás, Venezuela? It's not even alphabetical. Central America. Okay, should be under South America. I think is this it? Yeah, is this? No, this is Colombia. It's the Venezuelan stock market. Apparently it's blowing up too. Now it's crashing. So all these markets are crashing. These markets are up, up, up. And then now they're just friggin' falling. Look at all these markets going down. Holy smokes. The world markets here. I don't see it, guys. Kind of wanted to find the Venezuelan market here, but that's okay. It's the same thing that's happening with the Zimbabwe stock market. Look at that. Look at it in January of this year. Right during COVID, and then it just went nuts. Man. It's up how many points? How many tenths of it's increased 478% since the beginning of 2020. That's unheard of. 478% rise in the stock market. Holy crap. You put your money in anything, you'll get money back. You know what I'm saying? So we got people asking people in the comments if they're flat earthers. Come on, guys, respect each other. Please respect each other. There's Tyler saying, Tyler Perry saying the U.S. stock market way above the all-time highs. Yes, it did. Type IBVC. 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 No, there's no. I think he's trying to make me look up something else. I thought it was a market. CMHC urges lenders to stop offering so many high-risk mortgages. Why are they giving people high-risk mortgages for? Stop with this crap. We're going to talk about this again on trends in the housing market. Stop screwing with people's lives. Because they sign on that dotted line, the bank owns them. The government owns them. Everybody owns them. CMHC owns them. Everybody owns them. And you can't walk away from a mortgage in Canada. Matthew is saying, I found out my buddy is working in a lab. He's working towards a quick COVID test. I haven't gotten much info out of him. Well, you got to find out when you can. If you find something else, let us know. Looks like I'm getting Facebook messages here. Here we go. There's the Venezuelan stock market. Wow. The Venezuelan stock market increased 279%, 279.72% since the beginning of 2020. Holy crap. Look at that melt up. That is a melt up, baby, this evening. I need a melt up, baby, tonight. So a lot of arguments going on in the comments section. I'm falling asleep here, guys. Yeah, man. We got a bunch of good callers. We had Liam in tonight from Southeast Asia. We had Tino from Seattle. We had Sean from an undisclosed location. We had 26 Gunter call in from Wisconsin. And we had, what's his name? Buddy from Melbourne, Australia. Stephen Thomas. Then we had the Raven call in from Manitoba. Then we got who else we got call in today? I went a few call-ins today. I want to get Lisa Clark back on the show because she was really good. She's in New Zealand. She was the one that was held up in a hotel until she could be negative or tested negative. I want to get we'll get Craig on the show next week for any updates. I got to get Layla back on the show. Supreme Cannon too. Maybe get him on next week if he wants to come on. Eduardo would be good to find out what's going on with the protesting in Ottawa. So, guys, if there's somebody you want to come back on the show, or if you want to come on the show, you're more than welcome to come on the show. Yeah, I think we should get. I think we had Supreme on last week. You should get him on this week again. And give us an update. Well, every week something happens. So every week somebody will be covering something nowadays. It's like every 3 hours something's happening in the news that's hitting social media. That's all over the place, like just spilling all over the world. And Supreme Cannon says, sure, I should be around. Yes, please be around. We do have Supreme Cannon mugs. Matthew said he sent me an article. I sent you an article he sent me. Oh, okay. Let's go to there real quick here. Let's check this article out here. You know, we're just getting opinions from each other. We're talking to each other. We're trying to, I don't know, we're trying to make sense of all this crap. Okay, here we go. There's an article that was sent to him. Mandatory face coverings. I think that's not it. Hold on. No, it's a YouTube link. That's a YouTube link. Oh, it's a screenshot. Is it the screenshot here? No, this is something about the Belarus president leaked something. Let's try to see. Face coverings are now mandatory across Victoria. I'm not seeing it here.
Melbourne
this
shopping.
Is a video. This is I'm going to get flagged for. So there it is, all closed. This is in Melbourne, Australia. Article scan. There it is. Look how empty everything is. I'm just going to go through as images. Look at the malls, empty. Just everything's empty. I guess construction doesn't stop. I guess construction never stops, ever. They're predicting up to 400,000 jobs to be lost. Stage 4 restrictions will cost the economy billions of dollars. So they're doing this. They're doing it. Australia, I know Australia is number one when it comes to doing this stuff. When it comes to testing the grounds, testing the waters. Australia is the Commonwealth's petri dish. It is the test subject, if you so I don't know, whatever way you want to say it. That's what Australia is, and I've been saying that for many, many years. And if this comes to Seattle or other big cities across America, we have boots on the ground everywhere that could tell us that these things are happening, you know. And okay, they're happening, but then what? Right? We got to start talking solutions, folks. You know, like I said at the beginning of the show, back in the day, like at the turn of the century, we'd be saying, well, I don't care what you say. I don't care. I'm not scared to die. I know my freedoms. And then that started to pipe down, right? And then it got to a point where, oh, I'm scared to lose my job now. I can't say anything at work. Then that started to pipe down. And then now it got to a point where you can't even tell anyone who you're voting for at work because you could get fired. And then that started to pipe down. And then now it's going to be, do you want to take that plane? You got to do what we tell you. So it's getting to a point where, go ahead and take me out. I'm doing this show. I'm exercising my freedom of journalistic expression or discussion or freedom of assembly. And if I can't do that, right? I mean, you know what I mean, right? And like I said at the beginning of the show, they've given you the fear of dying. Because if you're scared to die, then the government has won over you, right? The governments manipulate, and they always instill the fear. Well, you don't want to die. Christian, I'm a Christian. I'm Roman Catholic, and I'm not afraid of dying. And I'm not trying to be big on camera. I've made my peace with God, my family, my will's done. I'm not afraid to die. But I don't want to be treated like a puppet. I don't want to be treated like it gets to a point where I can't get on a train, I can't get on a plane, I can't get on this, I can't get on that. And, you know, we got Supreme in the canon in the comments saying there was way too much galvanizing over the world. That's how we got the damn COVID problem anyway. That's what it is. Okay, somebody sent me an article here. Okay, this is from some institute here. Near care test that can detect COVID-19 in 20 minutes validated. A test that can detect COVID-19 virus from nasal swabs in just 20 minutes have been validated by this institute scientists in the collaboration with Australian biotech company GeneWorks. So apparently they're working on something to get an accurate and up-to-date test. But then it's like, if we've already had it, I mean, if they're preparing us for the second wave, what if they just got these companies, these big companies, running around in circles? What if the wires are crossed, right? Wow, Steve the Plumber's in here at like 1 o'clock in the morning where he is. It's Mike in the morning for him, not Mike in the night. People of the night, you're watching Mike in the night. Crossed wires all over the place. They got 1 over us. They got 2 over us. They got 3 over us now. They got 4 over us. Yeah, hopefully maybe we can get Steve the Plumber on trends in the housing market this Wednesday, guys. We should get Steve the Plumber back on the show on trends in the housing market. The article I read here it is. Steve, this one's for you. CMHC urges lenders to stop offering so many high-risk mortgages. Again, they're putting a lot of junk on the books. They're cooking the books, and they're trying to keep these numbers up so real estate can keep going up by basically putting people's futures and lives and families at risk. They couldn't care less. If you could walk away from the mortgage and mail your keys back, I could see them kind of like not going into this, but they're not. Woo! Anthony Ruvalacaba sent me $5 super chat. Woo! Thanks, Anthony. You're the best, man. Layla saying, LOL metal. It's coming. Trust the plan. Mr. Wright is saying, when will the CIA start a coup on the election cycle? Did it start already? I think there's things in the works right now. Wholeheartedly think there's things in the works. There's always something in the works when it comes to something as big as a presidential election, right? So there's something in the works, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. But if someone tells me, I could tell you guys what I think it is. So we got John Ming in the house, Layla in the house, Tyler, Leaf, Craig, Anthony Ruvalacaba, Mr. Wright, Supreme Cannon, Matthew, The Raven, Linny Poo, Ben Winter. Who else? Jeff Salcero. We got Tino. We got so many people contributing to the chat. We got a couple of people at the start of the show. Not a couple. We got a person at the start of the show. Basically, Marcelo Marveloso. We got a couple of people at the start of the show, basically trying to take down or demoralize me or trying to screw up or defect or ruin the show. And you go ahead and say what you want or say about me, you're trolls. But I ain't. I love to give them some time, though. I love to talk about them a bit, you know? Steve the Plumber, so far, so good, amigo. I'm just reading here what some of the comments are going by. Yeah, guys, we're approaching our 3rd hour. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. We had a bunch of good callers. And yeah, you know what time it is, eh? Wow, 3 hours already.
Gemini King, Mike in the night, and the Gemini crew.
Hopefully we can get more guests on the show next week. Ooh. If you want to be a first-time caller, let me know.
The night, you're here with Mike in the night. Let's just talk about the world. Give this page another turn, 'cause you're here with us tonight. Everything's alright when you're here with Mike in the night. Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Giving the world light when you're here with Mike in the night. Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Sometimes things are just absurd, so let's just talk about the world, 'cause you're here with us tonight. night, you're here with Mike in the night. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Let's just talk about the world. Give this page another curl, 'cause you're here with us tonight.
All right, guys, you take care out there, and if you can't take care,